along with you. Be safe and be secure. First Bank, here for you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Buying some pretzel sticks?
Excuse me?
This is your wake-up call from Tracfone Wireless.
Okay.
What if you didn't eat all those pretzel sticks by the end of the month, so this store took them back?
Good luck.
That's how some wireless companies are with your data, but Tracfone Wireless gives you unlimited carryover data with active service, so you keep what you pay for. Plans start at $20 a month.
Wow, that's cool.
Sir, are you bothering the customers?
Yeah, hang on.
This is your wake-up call, people. Tracfone Wireless. Now you're in control.
Available at major retailers. See terms and conditions at tracfone.com.
Kendall Auto Plaza offers the area's best car and truck buying experience with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. What's on their 100-acre lot? A huge inventory of Ford, Lincoln, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and over 100 quality and certified pre-owned vehicles. Whether you use your car, truck, or SUV for work or play, discover why Kendall customers are so loyal. Kendall Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or shop from home at KendallAutoplaza.com.
The radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey.
With in front, deflected, they score!
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, 97.3 ESPN. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
We have a lot of things to go through with these next couple weeks of evaluating the entire roster and every position, quarterback, wide receiver, defensive back. That is what we're going to be diving into here, and it's great. I mean, we have two quarterbacks in Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts that are top-notch quarterbacks, and a lot of teams don't have any. And so just really excited to work with both of them.
That was Nick Sirianni today talking about the Eagles quarterback situation. I got to be honest, he didn't give you a whole heck of a lot. There's not a lot of tea leaves you can read from this press conference. We will try our best, and we will do it with some of the best. Sal Paolantonio at 3 o'clock, Adam Caplan at 4. But right now, this is the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And watch the show live at our website, 973ESPN.com, through Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm Mike Gill. That's Hunter Brody. Josh Heddings producing today's show. You out there. This is the Friday show. So what do we know? We don't know anything because Nick Sirianni gave us nothing. I don't want to say I'm writing him off, but if you're just saying, hey, I got pumped up or I'm excited or that was not very good.
It was underwhelming. And you're right. You don't want to write off this guy just because he was underwhelming in his first press conference. I always say that Doug Peterson was the worst I've ever seen in front of the camera, and the guy won a Super Bowl. So what does this mean really? But I think it shows more about the dysfunction still going on up top more than it does about the head coach, Nick Sirianni. I think that's where I'm more flustered. Like, you had how many days to come up with the game plan when it came to answering these questions? He was saying things like he didn't watch film yet with this team. Well, if you didn't watch film on what this team was, how did you sell the front office and the owner that, hey, I'm the guy for this team? Like, you didn't watch film, so how did you put together a game plan and a philosophy to sell the owner? It's almost like what sold the owner was the 5 takeaways and like the 5 core values. His being a coach. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's nothing I saw in that press conference that made me say that's why they hired this guy. But I'm also not saying, what were they doing hiring this guy? I'm not writing them off. There was one moment, though, that got me a little like, you got to be kidding me. And it was just like, maybe, I don't know, I didn't sleep that well this week. It was just like, I'm not a reactionary person very much, but I was like, come on, dude. Like, I want you to sound like a real person. I want you to make me be able to connect with you. And there was a moment where he was like, listen, he was asked about, has he thought about it? He's like, I haven't thought about who my quarterback is at all. Like, I haven't even thought about it. I'm thinking, dude, the second you get named the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, your life becomes who's playing left guard, who's playing left tackle, who's playing here, who do I have there, who's my quarterback? That's all you think about. That's it, right?
I would agree with you.
I mean, you probably have been in a situation when you're on a team, not even coaching, and you're like, all right, I'm the second center. Who are they going to play first? And that's all that consumes you. You're coach of your hockey team. I coach 13-year-old kids playing baseball, and I can tell you that me and my coaches text back and forth almost all day, every day on Who's playing where? What's your lineup look like? Who's making the roster? Which guy's playing here? What do you do if this guy's pitching? What do you do if this guy's playing right field? Who can I move from right to left? Who can play short and third? Who can play third and first? Those are questions that go on all day long. For him to say that just didn't seem like real. And I get it. He's just saying, he's not going to come out and say, oh, that's all I think about. But he could have gave me a better answer than, I haven't even thought about who my quarterback is. Really? You're telling me that you had a situation where you talked to the owner of the team to get this job, and that topic never came up. That is BS to the nth degree, and it was disappointing to hear him say that. Now, that being said, I'm not writing him off, but come on, dude.
I agree with you. Yeah, I know you're not going to stand up there and tell us, yeah, Carson Wentz is the starting quarterback or Jalen Hurts is going to be the starter. If you thought that's what was going to happen, well, then you just went in with the wrong mindset. But to say that you haven't thought about it, you got to go more along the lines of, like, show us why you sold Jeffrey Lurie. Give us a little bit more passion in it. Not so much the Dan Campbell route. That was a little too extreme. But I think we need to find the balance in between what he gave us and that. Right? I mean, you got to get down to you got to be telling us that you're excited to get this team going out on the field. You were thinking about it. You thought about it all day long. All you think about every single morning when you wake up is this quarterback situation, and you can't wait to get out there on the field to see how these two battle, right? I mean, something like that. Just go down the line of you're excited to see how these two quarterbacks get out there on the field for camp, and we'll see where it goes.
Just look, and again, there were things I liked. He sounds like a guy who's going to really focus on the fundamentals. He's really going to be like the whole story he told about Jay Wright and how they practiced that play and they practiced that play and they practiced that play. And that when it came time to run that play, they had seen it so many times because they had practiced it. Like those, I'm not saying he didn't have impressive moments. I was just saying, like, for the first time out there, he sounded like you had 8 days to get ready for this. And it sounded like they didn't prepare him for some of the answers or the questions that were coming his way. He said something about how he's going to do the 53, but I think I have to. It was almost like, I got to go back and check my contract here. I don't remember what it says.
Yeah, they probably didn't even get to that conversation in the meeting. The way I read it was they didn't talk about it when they were discussing what was going to happen here. And it's so normal and it's so obvious that coaches have say on that game day roster. So he's like, yeah, of course I have. I believe I have it because that's what's standard in this league. Yet he forgets who's up top. He forgets Howie Roseman is the one that gets to make those decisions. So he's in for a rude awakening. I feel he's going to be blown away with some of the things he realizes is going to go down when he's the head coach here. It's like he wasn't fully aware of everything when it comes to how Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman likes to pull the strings.
Yeah, I think, look, again, I want to make it clear. I'm not writing the guy off. I'm not saying this guy. I think I like the hire. I don't care what he said there, but I'm reacting to what I heard, and I'm scratching my head a little bit like, whoo, but I like some of the stuff that I heard. I think this is a guy who's going to really focus, like what I got from that press conference. Okay, what I got from that press conference is this is a guy who's going to focus on the fundamentals, and he has a youthful energy that he loves the game. Was he nervous? Maybe. I got to be honest, it's probably not the easiest thing to do to get up on a podium and do a speech in front of an empty room.
Yeah, the opening monologue that people keep pointing out that he was nervous about, that means nothing to me. That's called being a human being. And he settled in a bit. Like you saw it in the beginning, he was a little nervous and he was stumbling. And as much as Doug was bad up there, for your first time ever to get thrown into it, that's the last thing I'm going to take away in terms of saying this guy can coach or can't coach. Is he was a little nervous the first 5-6 minutes of a opening monologue for the first time as a head coach.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him being nervous at all. I mean, look, just because you might be nervous doesn't mean you're not an intelligent guy, smart guy, good at your job. I mean, look, I don't love public speaking. It's not my favorite thing to do either. People say, well, you talk on the radio. Yeah, nobody can see us. Now you can.
I was going to say, hey, now you go to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you name it. We're there.
Yeah, well, it's not like you're sitting right in front of me. I can't see you back, but the whole him being nervous and that, I just don't think he gave us – he was very guarded with a lot of his answers, which I'm sure they told him. But I think he could have said, look, I'm excited to see who our left tackle is, and I can't wait for the challenge to see, is Andre Dillard going to win that position, or is it Jordan Mailata, or we got somebody else who's going to step up? I would have liked to heard that he had a better handle on his roster. He made it seem like, I haven't even looked at the roster yet. I don't even know who's on this team.
Right, and that's concerning to me. I agree with you. I didn't go in there expecting to get all these answers at all the positions, but it was almost as if he was unprepared with who's even here, what he has. And it's like, what did you go into Jeffrey Lurie's office even saying, or in the house in Florida? What were you even talking about if you have no feel on what you have here? And that's what concerns me a little bit. That's not to say he can't coach or he can coach, but it just, once again, it goes back to the dysfunction of this organization, and it's almost like it's now bleeding into the new regime with our first opportunity of getting a fresh start, and that's where I have a little bit of some concern.
Look, 609-403-0973. Your text messages, we'll read them off. We already have people on the video stream that are posting, and we will put your comments up on the video stream. Make sure you watch the show live. Go to our website, 973ESPN.com. We can open up the phones and do some phone calls, 609-573-3776, 609-573-3776, if you want to get in there. Look, the one thing that Sirianni mentioned today that I thought there was a couple of points I think that we found out that I wanted to find out, okay? I wrote a list of questions down that I wanted to see asked today in this press conference. And they were, number one, the quarterback situation, and that did not get cleared up.
We figured that, though, right? We figured that was going to be the case, didn't we?
I will say this, though. Why he did not clear anything up, he didn't give any ringing endorsement to Carson Wentz. There was nothing that he said like, hey, I'm really excited to see what this guy has. He's had a lot of – there wasn't much – he didn't play his hand any way or the other.
I think he was trained to do that, though. I think they went in there saying, hey, look, you don't want to just commit to Wentz. Let's play this where you don't give many answers. And I think that's kind of the best way to play that one, though. I think – because then we talk about it all the time. Not that it should matter about feelings or whatever, but what does that say to Jalen Hurts if you walk up there day one and just say – whether you think internally or not that Carson Wentz is automatically the starter, I don't think you can publicly just come out and say it after the debacle of last season with Jalen Hurts. So I think playing the middle ground is sort of what you needed to do.
He was asked who his starting quarterback will be, and this is what he gave us.
That's something that we have to look and evaluate, and I'm not ready to say that either way yet. We're just evaluating our players, evaluating every position, and every position, right? We don't know any of these guys really yet from what we've seen on tape so far, because we haven't watched any. So every position that is going to be evaluated and every position is going to be, open.
You've been the coach 8 days and you haven't watched any tape of your new team?
That's what scares me so much. And it goes back to how did they hire this guy? We thought that...
Well, you're assuming that he told the owner that he never watched any tape or doesn't know anything about his team. I don't think that's the case.
I'm just saying, you walk into a meeting. This is what I can do for your franchise. And it's based off of what you have there, don't you think? Like, I know they have X, Y, and Z. So when I go talk to Lurie, I'm going to sell him on what I can do with X, Y, and Z. But then he tells us he doesn't watch any film. Like, isn't there a disconnect here?
Yeah, I don't think that he's telling the truth.
Okay, and I can get behind that narrative for
sure. Because if he is telling the truth, then I am legitimately concerned. But you haven't watched this team on tape at all?
But if we're talking about this organization, the same one that turned into a dumpster fire last year, would you be surprised if they hired a guy who hasn't watched any tape?
Their track record of hiring coaches has been pretty good.
I know, but where we're at now is like nowhere we've been before.
Look, their track record as an organization is a fine one.
I can agree with you on that.
Yes, this year was bad, real bad. But they've got a pretty long track record of being a very well-run organization. Whether you like them or not, like the people who are in place, this team has given you constant success, almost more success than any other franchise over the Lurie era, other than New England. I'd like to see where the Eagles rank in terms of playoff appearances in the Lurie era versus really start at the Reed when he hired Andy Reid.
Yeah, that's where it started.
Well, he did hire Ray Rhodes.
That's true. I guess we can throw that in there as well. But I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'm just saying over like a 25 since really 2000. Which Andy's first year was 99. But if we go literally just a 20-year span from 2000 to 2020, I would say the Eagles are top 5 in playoff appearances.
And I'm probably agreeing. I see what you're saying. I just feel like we're in a different era of Jeffrey Lurie. Like, I feel like there's an old Jeffrey Lurie, and now there's like a new Jeffrey Lurie. And I'm a little bit concerned with this new version of him where I think that Chip Kelly era really messed with him mentally, gave all the power away. Now he's afraid to give power away. He's halfway in, halfway out, and maybe that impacts the decision-making moving forward. I do feel like we have two versions of Lurie. I'm with you. You do have a lot of success, whether people like to admit it or not, underneath of him, even though there's only one Super Bowl, sustained success where you're involved. But doesn't it feel like this is maybe a new version of him where he's mixing in too much?
I think winning that Super Bowl makes him want to win another one, and wanting to win another one makes you do drastic things.
That's also true. I looked at it more of like giving Chip Kelly too much power, so now he's afraid to give the next person too much power. But the Super Bowl is also a big one, too. He's like hungry. It's almost like he's too hungry.
Well, he knows he's getting to the end of the road. How many more years am I going to own this team? I'm not saying he's thinking about selling, but he's getting older. At what point do you just say, look, I can't have the day-to-day that I once did, and I want to win another one before I give that up, and I'm going to do everything I can to try to get that.
And this is the guy?
These are some of the topics that I was looking to be asked. I wrote these down. Quarterback situation, did not answer it. Carson Wentz, just him specifically, did not answer it. In fact, he didn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Well, he did say that he spoke to him at a conversation, and him and Wentz and the offensive coordinator actually spoke as well, for whatever that means.
What will his offense look like? He did answer that. He talked about how they'll have multiple dimensions, multiple looks, how they had multiple quarterbacks. They changed the offense based on the talent. They don't just run what they want to run. He will call the plays. That was something else that I did want to find out, and he said he will call the plays.
I also thought it was interesting that he made it seem as if they had a conversation on, are you going to be the CEO? Are you going to call plays? Like, it was on the table that maybe he wouldn't.
Yep, he thought about it.
Yeah.
And said, nope, I'm going to call the plays. He doesn't strike me as that I wouldn't give up the play calling or allow someone else to integrate, but he's going to call the plays. Another question I wanted to ask just for me personally, because I think it's a big question, is have you thought about, and I'm sure his answer would have been no, I haven't even watched the tape, but who will play left tackle? I mean, left tackle is a very important spot. They have a guy who was a first-round pick, and they had a guy who was a seventh-round pick who played pretty well last year. Is that a battle? Do you guys feel that left tackle is a necessity, or do you feel that could be fixed in-house? Jason Peters has played that position for how many years? You're going to need a new left tackle this year. Is that on your roster, or do you need to look outside the organization? And he wouldn't have answered it, so they didn't ask it. And his philosophy for pick number 6, that question was never brought up.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. I'm surprised. But you're right. You probably would have got a similar answer, too. I mean, if the guy's saying he hasn't watched film yet, you think we're going to get an option,
now that I heard his press conference, I don't think I would have got the answer to any of these questions.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, look, moral of the story, I think it was underwhelming. But to be clear, it doesn't mean that this guy can't coach.
No, that is to be very clear. That is not either one of us saying, I'm writing this guy off. He stinks.
I think the sad thing for me, though, is, and you kind of alluded to this early on, I didn't see anything that stood out to me where it's like that right there is what I think they saw in him to make this hire. I know he's filled with energy, younger guy, and maybe that is what sold them, but there was nothing that stood out where it's like right there, that it's pointed out right there. That's why they love this hire. I didn't get that.
Ruben Joseph's watching on YouTube. He says he was really nervous in front of the media, which I don't blame him. Watch a video of him mic'd up at Colts practice. He sounded comfortable and funny. Yeah, no, first off, he wasn't in front of anybody. There was nobody in that room.
That might make it even worse.
I think it's worse
I don't know,
to not have anybody there. You're sitting there. You're in an empty building. It's an awkward situation. But, yeah, if you watch some of his mic'd up stuff on Twitter or YouTube, you would see that he is one of the guys. He's out there, and he's comfortable. So I don't have any problem that he was nervous. Jeff Bone and Pookie watching on YouTube. It's good he is nervous. At least we know he cares about winning. I don't know that that's the way I took it, but, yeah, I'm sure he cares about winning.
Do you think that Lurie, Howie, and Nick Sirianni walk away from that pressure going, ha, we nailed it? Like, how do you think they feel about it?
I'm sure they do. They're probably like, great job. Great. You did everything we told you.
Oh, geez. That's a problem.
The Joe Show's watching on YouTube. What's up, Joe Show? He says, I can't blame the new guy right away. I blame Howie and Lurie for everything. Howie wanted a quarterback factory, which he later regretted saying. He blames Howie and Lurie for everything. Do you also blame them for winning the Super Bowl?
How dare you?
Sons of bitches.
How dare you bring me that Lombardi
Lombardi trophy to this town?
I get the frustration, though, towards them right now because this felt like a similar hire that they would pick. I mean, this just feels like a Lurie Howie hire to a T, doesn't it?
Well, it's kind of followed their formula, and it's worked. They hired an unknown quarterback coach that nobody was on. He was on nobody's radar. The guy's name was Andy Reid. He worked out pretty well for them. I know there's some people out there that don't think he's very good, but I'll go on the side that Andy's a pretty good coach. He hired Chip Kelly, who at the time was highly regarded as the right, pick for a lot of teams were going after him. It didn't work out. It just did not work out for him in the NFL. He just was not made for the NFL. And I give him credit for getting out of that and realizing it. And then he hired Doug, who was on nobody's radar. Nobody interviewed him. Nobody talked to this guy. And Doug won him a Super Bowl, although I know there are people who don't think he was a very good coach. He's got two guys that he hired who have now won Super Bowls. Not to mention the fact that they were guys that were not known by anybody. It wasn't like he hired some veteran coach who had won a Super Bowl, brought them here, and they won a Super Bowl. He uncovered two guys who have now won Super Bowls in this league. That's not easy to do.
No, it's not. It's not at all. I hate that I feel this way, but this feels very puppetish. It feels like this guy is just a puppet underneath of these two.
Well, I said before, even if that's the case, we thought Doug was a puppet, and it led them to a Super Bowl. So if they go down that road again and they win a Super Bowl, what's the difference?
No, there is no difference. I just don't know if that's something that you can live by. Like, it might have worked out with Doug, but is that the right way to really handle
I don't think
things?
there's a right way, a wrong way. It just happens. Something formulates and it happens. I don't know that there is a right and wrong way. These organizations, they do it once, they try to recreate it, and they can't. There's a reason why teams don't win multiple Super Bowls. There is no right and wrong way, and once you do it right the first time, you can't recreate it.
Well, players, yes, but in terms of hiring a coaching staff and the right way to go about things, I think that's two different conversations. To rebuild a Super Bowl roster is different and difficult because of the age of the players, the experience, hitting on the young guys, draft picks, free agents. But in terms of like the right way to go about hiring a coaching staff, I see that as two different things.
All right, let's get some more comments up on the screen here. Ruben Joseph, he made me get excited about Jonathan Gannon. Yeah, he did say a lot of things about Gannon, about how his football acumen, how smart he was. Kelly Green Wings is watching on YouTube. I think he needs a little bit more credit for his intellectual skills. Doug was pretty dumb when meeting with the media. Yeah, Doug said some things that you scratched your head a lot.
No doubt about it. I think majority of his press conferences, especially towards the end, I couldn't even listen. It was unbearable at times.
Blake Winters is watching on Facebook, says, I like Nick's interview today. What's up with the Wentz comments? Keeping it close to the vest, and I think all options are going to be considered. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take him at his word. He was asked if there's going to be an open competition. He said, I haven't. That's when he said, I haven't even thought about the quarterback that yet.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, it's a lie. I mean, you talk about not watching film possibly being a lie. That right there is a lie. Just make sure you give no hints on Carson Wentz being the quarterback is probably the message he was told prior to standing up in front of that media. By the way, we didn't touch on this. Jeffrey Lurie, please. No reason to speak in the beginning.
No, he took up a half hour of time that I'll never get back.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, you kept going on and on and on.
Well, I got to tell you, the plan was to air the press conference. It was so bad that I decided that we're just not going to do it.
That's a great decision.
We're just going to play some of the highlights, which there wasn't many.
The lowlights.
Andrew's watching on Facebook. I don't know why, but I just felt embarrassed during the press conference. That aside, I felt I didn't get any real answers about this team yet, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, because a lot of times when these press like, hey, look, this is really the last time you're going to hear from the football team really until draft time. So this is like the last hurrah of the 2020 and the entry to the 2021. And then after this, you're really moving on to the next season. So this was your chance to get what you wanted to get, like closure for that bleep show that you had in 2020. And I don't think we got the closure we wanted.
No, we definitely didn't. But if you went into this saying, I want to get answers on what this team is going to be, well, I think you kind of went in with the flawed mindset. What I wanted to hear is just his tone of voice, how he presented himself, the way that he talked about the game, the way that he answered questions. I wasn't specifically listening to hear who the quarterback was going to be. It's just, how does he deliver his message? You know, what's the power in his voice sound like? It's more about just hearing his tone more than what he's actually saying.
Yeah, Doug says he's Rocky Balboa, not great with words, setting himself to be the underdog along with his no-name staff. Yeah, he has Mick in the corner with him. And Paulie.
That's great.
Right?
I love it. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, boy. This is going to be a spirited day, I imagine. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. And don't forget, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can watch through our website. Just go to 973ESPN.com. It's real easy to do. Go to the website. You'll see the link. Click on the link. You can watch us on YouTube. You can comment on the YouTube page, the Facebook page, the Twitter page, and we will put your comments up on the screen. We'll talk about them throughout the show. Very good stuff. A lot of fun. Text board is open. Phone lines are open. Also, Sal Pal today at 3. Adam Caplan at 4. Pete Thompson, and some sad news just coming by. I don't know if you guys saw this. Former Temple basketball coach John Chaney just passed away. And I got to tell you, when I read that, I mean, John Chaney, when I was growing up, he was college basketball for me. Like, living in this area, Temple was very good. When I heard John Chaney pass, I was like, oh, man. So that's just coming by as well. I know Pete Thompson covered John Chaney when he was at Temple. So I'm sure Pete will give us some great John Chaney stories as well. So stick around. The Sports Bash is live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app, and streaming everywhere with live video at 97.3ESPN.com.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Free ball by Tobias is good. Oh, baby, like manna from heaven, Tobias Harris.
The Sixers are in Minnesota to face the T-Wolves. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
On some models, excludes Corvette with GMF financing, excludes fire sale. See dealer for details.
Start the new year in a new Chevy at Bennett Chevy. Come see all the hot new 2021s and get our famous unbeatable Bennett deal. GM supplier employee pricing, plus you keep all the rebates. And right now, that could be up to 25% off MSRP. Yes, up to 25% off. Shop all you want, but there's just no beating Bennett. Looking for pre-owned? Bennett will pay you a minimum $7,000 for your trade towards any pre-owned in stock. That's at least $7,000, regardless of how or even if your old car runs. Imagine how much you'll get for a good trade. And you will absolutely love dealing with Bennett. There's no games, no gimmicks, just real deals and no need to negotiate because our non-commissioned sales team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Find new roads and start the new year in a new Chevy at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
If you're struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to take action and get professional help. Call Recovery Centers of America at 1-888-RECOVERY today. You are worthy of recovery from your addiction, and calling RCA will be your first step in getting the help you need. Recovery Centers of America answers the phone and admits patients 24/7. And because safety is a top priority, all patients and staff are routinely tested for COVID-19. RCA's expert team of physicians and medical professionals will treat you with compassion and dignity and provide an evidence-based treatment plan that is custom-tailored to your specific needs. Recovery Centers of America at Devon and Lighthouse are local and in-network with insurance providers, so they're best-in-class inpatient and outpatient care, offered both in-person and via teletherapy, is affordable and accessible. Make this the year you conquer your addiction. Call today, 1-888-RECOVERY. That's 1-888-RECOVERY.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. But maybe you're unaware of new tools that can help your business stand out. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too. There's no cost and no obligation. Be one of the first business owners to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Get started today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Pigskin fans, the moment you have been waiting for all season is right around the corner, and DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of Super Bowl 55, is bringing back their golden ticket giveaway with up to $55 million in prizes up for grabs. All you have to do to get your share of these huge prizes is enter DraftKings free Super Bowl prediction challenge. Once you submit your picks, you will get a free instant prize up to $25,000. And if you have the most predictions correct, you could win the top prize of $1 million. Download the app now, enter the free prediction challenge, answer questions like who will score last, and boom, get ready to make it rain. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code 973 to enter the free $55 million Super Bowl prediction challenge. That's code 973. Only at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of Super Bowl 55. Terms, conditions, and eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Kendall Auto Plaza offers the area's best car and truck buying experience with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. What's on their 100-acre lot? A huge inventory of Ford, Lincoln, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and over 100 quality and certified pre-owned vehicles. Whether you use your car, truck, or SUV for work or play, discover why Kendall customers are so loyal. Kendall Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or shop from home at KendallAutoplaza.com.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, bottom of the hour, Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app, watching us live on our website, 97.3ESPN.com. Mike Gill, Hunter Brody, at Mike Gill Show, at Brodes81. It's a very interesting day today. Nick Sirianni, the head coach, spoke, so we are reacting to that. And there's mixed reaction. We got a lot of comments coming in on the video stream, which we'll put up on the screen and continue to react to. We have some coming up on the text board as well, 609-403-0973. And don't forget, you can get in on the action on the video stream as we'll continue to pop your messages up there. So here we go. Let's take a look at some more, react to what the people think about this, press conference today. Everybody wanted to hear what he had to say about the quarterback situation. If there was only one, if you got one question and one question only, bros, it would be the quarterback situation. Tell us about it. Your thoughts. You're walking into a pretty tough situation as a first-time head coach. You have an established quarterback making a lot of money who got benched last year. What is your role in this? And he gave us bupkis.
Yeah, he gave us literally nothing. I just wish he went down the road of like, look, I'm excited to have Jalen and Carson Wentz both out on the field. I can't wait for camp. I can't wait to talk to these guys more, learn more about them, and, get them out on the field and then see what they can do and work on their skill sets and get them better, get both of them better each and every day. Even though that's standard cliche, it's better than, I haven't really thought about it. No, tell us you're excited about it.
This is what he said when asked. When he was asked about what he talked to Jeffrey Lurie about in regards about the quarterback situation.
Many different things that we talked about, players, positions, coaching staff, it was all on the table. And as far as the starter, haven't really thought about that yet. And naming a starter, that hasn't even crossed my mind. Again, just trying to evaluate the players.
So you talked about positions, but quarterback wasn't something you thought about,
right? I asked him, we really discussed like what we might do at left guard next year. The quarterback thing oddly never came up. Like I'm having a hard time. I'm having a real hard time with that.
Marcus Epps or Rodney McLeod or Corey Clement, or you want to go try and get Pumphrey? I mean, what were you guys talking about in that room?
Now, the only thing that I could say is we got a text from someone that said that he did an interview with the Eagles official website. And in that interview, he said that he watched a lot of Eagles tape in Indianapolis when Wright got there to install the offense, and that he was a lot higher on Wentz in that interview than this press conference today.
Yes. Now, I watched that video on the Eagles website.
The whole thing?
Yes.
Was it different?
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. It felt very fake. And not so much the coach being fake, but you could tell like, hey, Nick, I'm going to ask you this, and this is what you're going to say. Very scripted, I think is the word. But you kind of figure that, right? I mean, it's the Eagles production. They're throwing this out a day before the actual press conference. So it's inevitable that there would be a lot of fakeness involved. But it felt so scripted and so, hey, this is what you need to read and this is what you need to say. So it's so hard for me to take a lot out of that because they had an agenda with releasing that
well, you
that
would think
video.
that some of the things that he said there, he might have remembered and brought it into this one.
Right. It's not adding up. You're getting two totally different Nick Sirianni. So do you value the one with a little bit more pressure and microphones in his face for the first time as a head coach, or do you value the more produced version when it's sent out by the official team?
Another thing, somebody watching on Twitter, Nick Cuba over from the press, said the only thing he said was good, great question after every question. So he gave you the good question, great question, like the nervous laugh that Billy Schwein gives you.
That's exactly what that is. Oh, that's a great question. He's trying to figure out a little bit of time. He's trying to buy time to find a way to throw something out of his mouth.
How about this conspiracy theory from the Joe Show watching on YouTube? He says he can't say anything because Howie already made up his mind. I have a feeling that Howie will trade Wentz. So he didn't want to say anything and then be like, hey, that comes back to bite me. So he just stayed very non-committal to everything.
Yeah, but even if you went down the road of like, I'm excited to get both of them out there on the field, and he ends up getting traded weeks down the road, he didn't say anything wrong. He just gave you the standard, I can't wait to go out there on the practice field and work with these guys every day. That has nothing to do with him getting traded or not.
Well, look, he had an opportunity to really try to clear up a lot of stuff.
But I don't think he should have said anything in terms of who was going to be the quarterback. Like, I actually think the right way to handle it is to not give an answer on who the quarterback's going to be, but you got to give us more than I haven't thought about it. But I don't think he should have said, like, yeah, we're going with Wentz. Like, I don't think that should have been the right way.
No. Although, if you're Carson Wentz, you have a new coach. There was a question about how he's disgruntled and the whole situation that we've known. Doesn't he want to try to clear that up? I mean, like, in other words, does the roster right now, they're watching that. Do they watch that and say, this is the guy?
Probably not, but I do think
not that matters.
Right. Him and Wentz probably had he even said, Jalen and I spoke, and we're going to keep that in-house.
Well, this is what Sirianni said about the conversations he had with the players.
You know, the conversation with him and the conversation with the guys that I've had is, you know, really excited to start working with you. Most of the conversation is getting to know the individual besides football. I'm going to learn a lot about him in football. I know I'm going to learn a lot about him in football in this next week, but I wanted to know a little bit more about each player that I've talked to personally, right? And then when I look at the tape, and I look forward to this, looking at the tape of being honest and having honest and open conversations with each one of them of what I saw on the tape and how we can improve.
I go back to, how did he not look at the tape yet?
Something's not adding up. It feels impossible.
Feels absolutely like I got hired to be the coach of this team. The first thing I do, I'm watching Carson Wentz every single snap he took. And then I'm going back to 2017, 2018, and 2019. And I am specifically saying, what's different?
Yeah, especially because in that video that the Eagles released, he was talking about Carson Wentz specifically and kind of talking about how he's going to have his hands on this quarterback position and have his hands involved with these quarterbacks and developing them. So how do you go from not ever watching the tape to a day before putting out a video that the Eagles did with him saying like, oh, he can't wait to get his fingerprints on Carson? That means you've been looking at Carson and studying him. So, you know, it's just so hard. Nothing's adding up.
Well, as Doug points out, who's watching on Facebook, he says at one point Sirianni said, I watched Hurts college in 4 games of film. And then 3 minutes later, he said, we haven't had a chance to watch anybody on film yet.
Yeah, that is true. He did mention Jalen Hurts and his success in college and what was on tape. So that's a great point out of Doug.
Also, somebody brought up earlier, who was it, that he was, here we go. Ruben Joseph said he made me get really excited about Jonathan Gannon. Well, here's what he said about Gannon.
His football IQ is off the charts. When I want to know something about a defense, all right, for the last 3 years, if I wanted to know something about a defense, he's the first one I've went to. He's the first one I've went to every single time. Hey, tell me how they're doing this. His football IQ is off the charts. His players play well for him. All right, his players love him, and his energy is contagious. He loves football. He loves being around football. He loves being on the practice field. He loves being in the meeting room. Tireless worker that I truly believe in. So
Ruben, watching on YouTube, said, I got excited about Gannon, to which was followed up by Ralph saying, Eagles are in trouble, man. If the most exciting thing of that press conference was, I'm excited about Jonathan Gannon, are the Eagles in trouble? I don't think so.
No, once again, it's so hard to watch today and then say this means they are screwed on the football field. I don't know if that necessarily correlates with the coaching hire itself, but I told you the other day in the shower, I had that really weird gut feeling, and this does seem to trend with that awkward, ugly feeling in my stomach.
Well, here's the thing. Sirianni, again, had a chance to win people over, and it wouldn't matter if he did win them over. If we all said, man, he won that press conference, and then come September, you're not remembering a Friday that happened when he had a press conference in the last week of January.
That's so true. It really is. But I just remember hearing Dave Dombrowski speak, right? And it's not like he was making anything crazy happen that day, but when you listen to him speak, it sounded professional. It sounded like this guy had an idea on what he wanted to do. It sounded like there was a blueprint laid out with the Phillies franchise. With the Eagles, I don't know if I got that. This guy is fully aware of what he's getting himself into. It doesn't seem like he has this beautiful game plan laid out where it's like, I'm going to go execute this. And when we do, we're going to succeed. It didn't feel that way to me. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to fall flat on his face,
well,
but I didn't feel that.
To be fair, how many people do you think covered the Indianapolis Colts offensive coordinator's press conferences?
Not many.
Right. At one point, I saw somebody tweet that there was like 60 people in the Zoom call waiting to ask him a question.
Do you think he got nervous from seeing all the raised hand emojis?
I saw Rob Motti tweet at one point that there was 30 people already in queue ready to ask a question. And not everybody, including Rob Motti, got called on to ask a question. I thought they cut the press conference off kind of short, even though it was about 45 minutes, because Lurie took up a half an hour and said nothing.
You read my mind, and I wonder if that was part of what they wanted to do. Hey, Lurie, you speak for a while, so then it means the head coach isn't going to get as many questions. Do you think that was something they processed prior?
Well, I'm interested to see why, I don't know who was the moderator, but when they say, hey, we have time for 3 more questions or 2 more questions, and then he said, we have time for 2, he expanded it to 1 more. So was there a hard out? Why was there a hard out time? They weren't,
Right. They shouldn't have been pressed for time at all. They should have been able to keep going until everything was figured out.
Absolutely. There should have been no reason why everybody in that room shouldn't have been able to ask a question.
I agree. Yeah, you can't put a limit on that. This is a big-time hire, as Jeffrey Lurie told us in the beginning. This is a big, big decision for the franchise. So if it's that big, don't sell us short. We want more.
Yeah, we not only do we want more, I think we deserve more. This team was a disaster. You hired a coach outside the box. People have questions. And I think because you're not going to talk again until the draft process comes up, people deserve the opportunity to hear what this guy had to say about a variety of topics. And the problem is he didn't answer a lot of the questions. So some of the questions people tried to ask, and I got to wait till the transcript comes out because I want to read how, Les Bowen tried to ask about the quarterback. McClain tried to ask about the quarterback. Eskin tried to ask about the quarterback, and he dodged and dodged and dodged. I think the first question of the thing was about the quarterback, but it was kind of massaged. Like it was 2 questions in one. He did not want to talk about that, but I think the fans had the right to hear every reporter's question that was in that room.
Now, Moshe chimes in. He seems a little pissed off. Lots of exclamation points.
At who?
Well, he just says this. How does the owner not take questions with 5 exclamation points? Ridiculous.
You know what? That's fair to say, but I almost didn't need the owner on the call at all. But if he was going to be on the call, he could have been like, hey, we're going to have both of them there together.
Yeah, I lean towards you. I'd rather just him not even be involved at all. And it's like, hey, this is the head coach. But at the same time, I would love to see people drill Jeffrey Lurie with some questions about this.
And here's the problem with this COVID situation in the press conference. That really should have been all 3 of them, Lurie, Roseman, and the coach, so that they could ask questions and see what Roseman had to say. Because he was asked this question regarding the 53-man roster. And we know he doesn't have power of the 53-man roster, but the answer that he gave, I thought, was very, very weird. Didn't you? The question about the 53-man roster. Take a listen to what Sirianni said when he was asked about, does he have any input on the 53?
Howie has final say over the 53. I believe I have the say over the 47 on game day, on game day of what we need to go through the game and get into the game and the pieces that we need. As far as picking the players and helping pick the players, I really look forward to working with Howie and his staff to help get the players in here that we feel like fit to what we want to do offensively and defensively.
So he says Howie, which was not a surprise, has control of the 53. And I think I have control on the 47 on game. I think.
That tells me that they didn't really discuss this when they were talking internally. And because around the league, it's standard for a coach to have that power, he just assumes, yeah, I believe I have this. But he doesn't realize he's working with a different type of beast in this organization.
Yeah, he says, I'm looking forward to working with Howie. Let me tell you, Nick, no one's looking forward to working with Howie. I know that, and I'm not even a Howie hater. Am I?
No, but it's fair to say he's tough to work with. Reportedly. Allegedly, I guess we should say.
All right, Sports Bash is live. 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And don't forget, you can watch us live on our website, 97.3ESPN.com. If you're not watching, you're missing out. Brodes has a hat on backwards today. What is it? It's a Flyers hat, baby. Flyers might be shut down for a little bit. We'll see. Durso coming up a little bit later on to talk to us about that because the Devils are having some COVID issues. So there might be some contract tracing. We'll try to get the latest coming up on that on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app, and watch the show live on our website, 97.3ESPN.com.
There's never an off season for the NFL. It's football at 4, every day at 4 p.m. on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Offer excludes new Corvettes and new Cadillacs. Kerbeck and Atlantic City Model Year Closeout. All remaining 2020 models must go at Kerbeck Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac of Atlantic City. 2020 Chevrolet Equinoxes. Over $7,000 off original MSRP. Over 30 to choose. All Equinox models in stock. Premiers, LS, and LT as low as 0% up to 72 months. 2020 Chevrolet Equinoxes. Over $7,000 off original MSRP. Over 30 to choose. All Equinox models. Premiers, LS, and LT as low as 0% up to 72 months. Save on any new Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, or Pre-owned. We are Kerbeck Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac of Atlantic City, Albany Avenue. Kerbeck of Atlantic City Model Year Closeout. Click KerbeckAtlanticCity.com. Find new roads. Call Kerbeck for details. 1-866-518-0086.
Dorothy Roofing. Call 1-877-97-Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin Daly, the owner of Dorothy Gale Roofing. Do you have a leak? Do you need a new roof? Give us a call today for honest, wholehearted advice at 1-877-97-Kevin.
Wizard quality comes with DorothyRoofing.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 5510 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 5510. Enjoy.
Interest rates are at an all-time low, making this the perfect time to buy a home or save money by refinancing your mortgage. South Jersey Federal Credit Union offers great rates, local decisions, and now through March 31st, a credit of up to $1,000 towards closing costs on qualifying mortgages. Visit southjerseyfcu.com, call 1-800-582-7640, or visit a branch for information. Must apply by March 31st, 2021. Subject to qualifications and approval. Owner-occupied residences only. Other restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
Do you crave the thrill of success and all the opportunities that come with it? Are you an ambitious professional who seeks an exciting career opportunity with unlimited earning potential? Are your achievements most rewarding when they also benefit others?
If so, then you may have what it takes to join South Jersey's leading radio and online marketing sales team at Town Square Media. Discover your passion for advertising sales and earn a guaranteed salary while you learn. Leverage newfound skills in integrated marketing campaign design and help local businesses recover and grow in the coming year.
With commission gains and hands-on training, your income grows right alongside your skill set, so you'll never be making less than what you're worth.
To schedule an interview, go to townsquaremedia.com and tap on careers. Kick off a challenging but fulfilling career in advertising sales with Town Square Media Atlantic City. That's townsquaremedia.com and tap on careers. Take success into your own hands today. Town Square Media is an equal opportunity employer.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill and Brodes on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And now you can watch the show live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 97.3ESPN.com.
And don't forget, tonight, it's a Friday night. Sixers and T-Wolves are in action tonight on 97.3 ESPN. It's the Sixers and the Wolves. Tomorrow, we've got Villanova, Seton Hall, Flyers, Islanders, Lakers, Celtics. So we got a little triple header tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN. Sunday, we've got Michigan State, Ohio State, and Sixers, Pacers on Sunday night. So it's all good stuff right here on 97.3 ESPN. Booked up tomorrow. Billy Schweim in the locker room. Josh, of course, has Sports Bash Saturday. He's going to have Brandon Robinson. Scoop B is on tomorrow's show. We'll have live on our website, 97.3ESPN.com, Pleasantville and Atlantic City, the basketball game. There is no, typically they play that game on Super Bowl Sunday for the Battle by the Bay. But since there is no Battle by the Bay and there is no real firm schedule this year, they're playing tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So we'll have that for you. It's on our website, 97.3ESPN.com. So you can watch that over there. A lot that we are discussing today, including this Nick Sirianni press conference. A lot of reaction coming in on the video stream and, of course, on the text board, 609-403-0973. Flyers won last night. I got the score right on the nose, 3-1.
It's funny you said that. I saw someone tweet this out last night. They guessed the score on one of their sportsbook apps, and they bet $5. They ended up winning 120 or something. With the 3-1 score, you could have just, even if you threw 5, you could have got $100. Maybe you would have paid for that shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, this is a Stitch Fix shirt. This came in the box.
Well, yeah, but you could have. I think it looks great.
It's a little different from what I normally wear.
Yeah, no doubt.
I can't figure out the color, though.
What do you mean? It's like a gray.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it looks kind of brownish, grayish. Like my girlfriend thought it was olive green.
No, it's not that. It's definitely more in the gray category. But
gray's a tough color to match.
Is it? How so?
Just a tough color to match. Like,
no, I think it looks good with anything. What do you mean? Like a pair of jeans, a pair of slacks, khaki slacks?
No. Like the color, like what I'm going to wear underneath of it.
Oh, yeah, you're big like polo under the zip. I'm like a T-shirt under the zip.
Well,
guy.
even if the T-shirt, it doesn't matter if it's a polo or a T-shirt. It's the color of the shirt.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm having the trouble with.
It looks different.
It's not the style of the shirt. It's the color of the shirt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that much of an issue with it.
There's like 2 shades of
gray. The 2 shades of gray on that one definitely throws some things off. But by the way, getting back to the whole betting thing. Now that since we were on the topic, of course.
I like how Groovy Savage has savagely come in here. Gray goes with a bunch of things.
Well, it does.
Brown?
Yeah, like khakis.
Blue?
Yes. Jeans.
All right. Gray goes with almost anything.
Yeah, see, I think you're in the outlier here. You got
the people who are watching on the video and see my shirt, does it look like an easy color to match?
Yes, I don't think I would ever have one problem if I picked that shirt out. It's like, now, do you pick out the shirt and then the pants, or the pants and then the shirt? Like, do you go shoes, then shirt?
Wearing jeans.
Yeah, but when you normally
pick out me wear anything but jeans?
I don't know. I never really know. But when I come in here, you're sitting down. Like, yeah, I see you straight. I don't know. You don't wear anything other than jeans ever?
No.
Jeans always.
Always.
Oh, see, you got to go slacks sometimes.
I haven't had a pair of slacks on since Moses wore short pants.
Well, you're missing out. I mean, they're in.
Yeah, I'm out on slacks.
Oh, you're missing out.
Pete Thompson, hardcore. He only wears slacks. He never wears dungarees.
Josh has a nice pair of slacks on right now.
No, he's got black jeans.
No, that's not denim. That's not like a denim jean. That is a slack.
I like Frank Romanelli chiming in. Says it looks like a nice charcoal gray. You're right, Frank. How you doing, pal? I like a nice charcoal gray.
Is that similar to what I have on now?
Yeah, yours is not charcoal gray. Yours is more of like a darker gray.
You like this one?
I do.
Yeah, it's nice. Princeton hockey. Little Nike.
Yeah, but see that orange like that. That's a color that pops with the gray.
Yes, it does.
I don't have an orange polo or tee in my repertoire.
You don't have any Flyers gear. You know what I'm wearing underneath? That's the
black.
tee. Mine is the standard, hey, we're in the 2012 playoff shirt that hangs out on your seat when you go to the Wells Fargo Center. That's the shirt.
You're going with that.
Yeah, I think it's, look, stay classy, Philadelphia. One of those.
Oh, Lou Nolan's on the shirt.
Yeah, you like that? I'll show it to the
Sixers
people.
game tonight's at 8, right? Sorry,
yeah,
the screen says 7. I'm updating that. It says 8 now.
Yeah, they moved it.
They did.
By the way, since we're all over the place right now, around everywhere. But DraftKings now is a golden ticket giveaway up to $55 million in prizes up for grabs. All you have to do to get your share of these huge prizes is enter the DraftKings free Super Bowl prediction challenge. Once you submit your picks, you will get a free instant prize up to $25,000. You can win the top prize, which is $1 million. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code 973 when you sign up. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, so if I would have bet last night, like for hockey, that's one of the things you could like go score.
Yeah.
3-1. I would have nailed that thing.
Yes, you would have.
Now, the night before, I said 4-3. They got the empty netter. The empty netter shouldn't count.
Yeah,
that's only 2 nights in a row that I've hit the score.
They had the empty net in play last night, too, and they couldn't find a way to bury. How about
I
Nate?
was like, when I text you,
yeah,
I'm kind of low-key hoping they don't score another goal because I want to hit this number right on the head.
How about Nate Prosser? I made fun of that guy the second I saw him. Here he goes, 34-year-old veteran who hasn't played in 2 years, drives the blue paint and gets a puck in the net.
You know what the thing is? Locker room guy.
Oh, he's a locker room guy, yeah. I think they call him the Procinator. He's got a nickname. A taxi squad guy with a nickname?
He's been around.
He hasn't played in 2 years.
Journeyman. He knows the angles. All right, on the other side, Sal Paolantonio, his reaction to Sirianni. What questions did he want answered that did not get answered? All that and more coming up next on a Sal Pal Friday as Sal Paolantonio joins us here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And don't forget, live video on our website, 97.3ESPN.com.
Hey, everyone, it's Billy Schwein for the Locker Room. We have a lot to cover this weekend. The Eagles introduced their new head coach. The Phillies signed JT Realmuto, and the Flyers and Sixers win. Saturday, we'll talk with former Paulsboro Red Raider, Temple Allen, Kansas City Chief Kevin Ross. Kevin is headed to Super Bowl 55 as a coach with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Sunday, my guest is Mark Eckel, who covered the Eagles for 32 years with the Trenton Times. Mark will give us his perspective on the Birds' new coaches. All the action starts every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
Are you tired of car dealer ads that boast about deals that sound too good to be true just to find out they can't live up to the promise? That's why we've been saying for so many years that it's worth it to take the short drive to Woodbine. At Gentilini Ford, we've built a reputation for taking care of our community and treating customers like family for 65 years with the best deals, real value, and no empty promises. I'm Paul Gentilini, and I assure you no other dealer in South Jersey beats our deals. We've been built Ford proud since 1955 as South Jersey's longest-standing Ford dealer for a reason. So check us out to experience the Gentilini difference. Give us a call at 609-861-0100. Visit us online at Gentiliniford.com or stop by today at 555 John S. Penn Boulevard next to the airport in Woodbine, New Jersey. We're just a short drive from anywhere.
Just a short drive from anywhere. Gentilini Family Motors.
Time is running out on your chance to enter the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares sweepstakes. It's the largest official game of Super Bowl Squares ever with millions of dollars in prizes. And best of all, it's free to enter. Someone wins $50,000 every score change during Super Bowl 55. Touchdowns, field goals, safeties, extra points, even a pick six is a winner. Each time we pick a lucky winner from the square, they win 50 G's. Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. Don't miss your chance to win. See rules and enter for free right now at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Then tune in on February 7th to see if you bring home some dough. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 55.
No purchase necessary. Legal residents of the 50 U.S. and D.C. of age of majority. Ends 2/4/2021, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. The NFL entities as defined in the official rules have not offered to sponsor this promotion in any way.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for the previews to start in a movie theater.
Hey, you want anything? Popcorn? Soda? No, nothing?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
You have the choice, whether it's going out for dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique. Those choices help to put money back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local businesses.
First Bank of Sea Isle City, Cape May County's community bank.
Dr. Lyle M. Back for everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery. Go to ilovelylback.com.
Egg Harbor Independent French Leader at Charles Schwab in the Consumer Square Shopping Plaza.
Filling Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. FillingMarble.com.
Intuitive Women's Health in Summers Point, accepting new patients. Schedule an appointment today at intuitivewomenshealth.net.
East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows services all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Call East Coast today at 609-646-1444. Online at eastcoastroofing.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses. From Town Square Media, South Jersey.
Stop the countdown. It's not a new year we're celebrating. It's an all-new Matt Blatt Nissan. Yes, you heard right. Matt Blatt Nissan is now open on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, next to Home Depot, and online at mattblattnissan.com. Help us celebrate when you get out of that old car, truck, or SUV and into a brand new Nissan with the Matt Blatt Nissan Fast Track Checkout. Available online at mattblattnissan.com. Our non-touch delivery and electronic paperwork ensures your safety comes first. Plus, Matt Blatt Nissan wants your trade. Bring it in today and help us celebrate the all-new Matt Blatt Nissan, Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, or visit us online. We want to help with your credit approval. And don't forget, with Matt Blatt, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Celebrate the all-new Matt Blatt Nissan. Online at mattblattnissan.com. Credit may affect terms. Negative equity will be refinanced in the new vehicle. Get all the details at mattblattnissan.com. Let's get it on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers. WENJ, WENJHT, Millville, Atlantic City, 97.3 ESPN. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Blatt Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
All right, the Eagles' new head coach, Nick Sirianni, met the media today. We've got that and more. It's the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And, of course, you can watch the show live on our website, 973ESPN.com. Right now, joining us on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline on a Sal Pal Friday to take a look at that. He also had a great piece today on SportsCenter, which chronicled the Tampa Bay Patriots, if you will, or the New England Buccaneers. Sal Paolantonio getting ready for Super Bowl 55. And, of course, he's a part of Sal Pal Fridays here. Our buddy Johnny G and the Burger Realty team delivering us Sal Pal on this Friday afternoon here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. And there we go, Sal Paolantonio. It is the Super Bowl week. We're ready to go, but the Eagles at the top of the list. New coach Nick Sirianni met the media today. And a lot of people seem to be kind of indifferent, underwhelmed, scratching their heads. Did he answer anything for you that stood out?
No, and, I think he's going to have a hard sell to the fan base. If he's going to take the tack of saying, we got two great quarterbacks and we're better positioned than a lot of other teams. So that's going to be a difficult sell for him. I don't see how that passes muster with Eagles fans. Apparently, Mikey wasn't watching the season because Carson Wentz had an historically bad season, and Jalen Hurts faded fast in the final two games. And who knows, maybe with the sixth pick
after they tanked the last game with the 6th pick. Maybe they take a quarterback. Everything is on the table right now, Mike. And for him to say, we got 2 great quarterbacks, I think that's gonna go over like the old, as they say, lead balloon with this fan base.
Yeah, and look, we didn't expect him to come out and name the starter, but for him to say he's hasn't looked at tape, hasn't thought about it yet. Look, the minute you get that job, you're thinking about every roster scenario under the sun, right?
He's gonna get coached up by a PR department on how to answer those questions. He's gonna have to be a lot more sincere, forthcoming, specific, understand the moment, understand the context, understand the fan base that he's talking about. This is not Indianapolis anymore, and it's not San Diego anymore. This is Philadelphia, the city that loves to shove you back.
Yeah, there was, I said, if he does a offensive coordinator press conference in Indianapolis, he might have, 6 people there? He probably had 60 people in that Zoom thing today, and he looked a little wide-eyed. I mean, that's not going to say whether he's going to do a good job or bad job, but he certainly was asked 5 different ways about the quarterback, very non-committal there. He was also asked a question about the roster. He said, Howie will have a final decision on the 53, and he said, and I think I'll make the decision on the 47 on game day. Isn't that something you would think he would know? And is that normal that the coach would or would not have final say on his game day roster?
Well, Michael, you got to remember, Nick Sirianni did not interview for any other job. So Nick Sirianni's got one of the 32 jobs that you want in the NFL. He's happy to have it. He doesn't want to step on the toes of his new boss. And so he's tiptoeing around it. Again, the problem, however, is the PR department and those people prepping him for those questions should have given him an answer. Okay, you're going to get asked this about the quarterback situation, A. And they're going to come at you 3 or 4 different ways on the quarterback situation. And here's what you're going to say so that you sound sincere and specific and in command.
Right.
So you don't sound like Adam Gase.
Oh, geez, don't take us down that road, please, buddy. No Adam Gase is here. Sal Paolantonio, for the most part, too.
I'm not wrong, Michael.
No, and that's what, when he was asked about Wentz, he was asked about the quarterback situation, and he didn't want to touch that. He didn't want to go. But you're right. He seemed as if it almost seemed like they didn't tell him, hey, you're going to get asked 5 different ways about this quarterback situation. Like, he was kind of just like, I don't have an answer. To the point where it's like, I don't even know who's on this roster. Like, it was almost as if he was like, I interviewed with the coach and I didn't know anything about the team.
Yeah, and listen, I don't want to disparage my brethren in Indianapolis. There are some good reporters there, really good guys that have done it for a long time. But you're not in competition with anybody. And, there's only a few reporters in the room or on the Zoom, depending on what year we're talking about. And this is a completely different situation. You're walking into a new job with a home-cooked quarterback controversy.
Yeah.
And a beloved coach who was just fired, summarily let go, or mutual parting of the ways, however euphemistically you want to say it. And very few people understand why that happened. And now, and again, poor Nick Sirianni, not prepared properly for the circumstances. Okay, you might say, well, he's a big boy. He should have understood it. He should have had an agent who prepped him properly. They've got a very competent PR department with the Philadelphia Eagles. We all know them well. They handled Andy Reid. They handled Doug Peterson. They handled Chip Kelly. This should be a layup. And I thought that, listening to that press conference, that Nick Sirianni was not prepared properly for the questions that were going to be asked and for the different permutations of the questions. This is not rocket science. These kinds of press conferences happen all of the time. And specifically in this circumstance where things are extraordinarily complex and the fan base is paying attention times 20 to what's happening with an introductory press conference for the Philadelphia Eagles, he had to come off better than he did today, in my view.
Yeah, I agree. I also thought they cut it a little short because I think there were questions that should have been asked that there was a lot of reporters in that Zoom that never got a chance to ask a question. And I think the Eagles owed it to the fans after that season and this coach being kind of coming out of right field to let everybody get a question in there. I don't know why they cut it so short. I guess because Lurie spoke for a half an hour.
Yikes, it felt like 3 hours.
Oh, gee, it was. Lurie was rambling for a while. Sirianni's opening statement was very long as well. Let me get, Sal, what are you hearing and what's your thoughts on the staff that he has put together? Very young, inexperienced staff. And we did find out today that Sirianni will call his own plays.
Well, he better call his own plays. That's the reason why he was hired. Mike, you hit the nail on the head. Young and inexperienced. And what you're doing is replacing a guy, Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl, and you're replacing Jim Schwartz as the defensive coordinator, who's been around the league as a head coach and defensive coordinator and did win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's a very young, inexperienced group. But the biggest issue is this quarterback quagmire that he's walking into. And I don't know how he's going to solve it. I don't think he knows how he's going to solve it. I think it's pretty clear, no matter how much they dance around it. And I'm just going to say this based on my experience and a reading of the situation, that Carson Wentz is the starting quarterback. Carson Wentz will enter camp as the starting quarterback. And Jalen Hurts will get an opportunity to compete for a lot of different reasons. One, Carson Wentz has this contract that would make a capologist jump off a cliff. And it's untradeable contract. And they realized that he had that great season, and Sirianni was brought in here to fix him. When Jeff Lurie had the press conference a couple of weeks ago after Peterson was let go, he said Carson Wentz is fixable, and he expects him to reach his potential. Okay, well, that's a clear signal that Carson Wentz is the starter. And Jalen Hurts, faded fast in the last two games. But obviously, it's difficult to make a final judgment on the young man, given that he was playing with, summer camp offensive linemen, really. Third string offensive linemen. Guys that you would have in the fourth preseason game starting on your offensive line against a Washington football team that had all pros up and down the defensive line. So, difficult to make a judgment on Jalen Hurts, but he certainly did not show us enough to take the job from Carson Wentz. You would agree with that, right?
Yeah, no, and I agree with what you're saying. That I think the question I wanted to ask you, that I agree with what you're saying, that Wentz will enter as the starter. I don't know that there's any other way. He didn't indicate that there would be a quarterback competition. Jeff McClain asked that question today. I guess my question for you, Sal, is will the head coach, Nick Sirianni, even get to make the decision on who his starting quarterback is?
No.
Well, that's a problem. Right?
I think it will be a collective decision of the organization. It will be the owner and the general manager and the coaching staff will make the decision together. I don't think it'll be Nick Sirianni's call based on what I see.
All right. That, of course.
And you, of course, have to agree with that. I mean, come on.
Oh, that's why I asked the question. I just wanted to hear it from you rather than me say it. Right? I mean, I agree with what you're saying. The fact that you say it and agrees with me thinks that at least makes me feel I'm on the right page. That Sirianni, after that today, was being said, look, don't say anything about the quarterback because no decision has been made. Meanwhile, a decision has been made.
Well, and, listen, what we have now is everywhere in the league, teams are looking at quarterbacks who may be available in a trade. Deshaun Watson wants out in Houston. Whether that's going to happen, I don't know. Is some team going to blow them away with an offer? They could, but Houston's got to be out of their minds. David Culley's got to go to Deshaun Watson's house and sit down with him and his family and say, listen, and his agent and say, listen, I'm with you here. We're in this together. Let's try to do this and fix this. For God's sakes, the governor of Texas should show up. Mayor of Houston, whatever it's going to take. Don't let that young man out of town.
Yeah.
He's a singular talent, a pyrotechnic talent of great ability, great community-minded guy, never gets in trouble, fabulous teammate. We're talking about a gold-plated guy. Did he win a national championship at Clemson?
Yep. And I'll tell you what, there is going to be, as your colleague Adam Schefter has reported and said, there's going to be crazy quarterback movement. Teams are going to be Roethlisberger, Breeze, Rivers. I mean,
Stafford, don't forget Stafford.
Right.
I mean, you know.
I'm just mentioning the guys that have been great. This isn't, hey, my team stunk at quarterback and I need to find a replacement. These are teams that had legends that need to be replaced.
Right. And so you look at where Carson Wentz is in the pecking order of that, right? Where does he rank in those guys that might be available? Well, he's definitely below Deshaun Watson, right?
Yep.
He's definitely below Matthew Stafford. We can establish that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Jared Goff?
I guess it depends on the system you're in, right?
What about Aaron Rodgers? Could he be available?
Well, that really adds
What about Jimmy G? Could he be available?
What an offseason.
What about Sam Darnold? Could he be available?
Right.
I mean, go down. Cam Newton's going to be available. I mean, go down the list.
Yeah.
Mike Gill, go down the list. Where does Carson Wentz fit? So if the Eagles pick up the phone and say, hey, Carson's available, well, you know, so is Matthew Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Jimmy G, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, go down the list. And I don't have Carson on my list. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Which lowers your return on investment if I have other options out there. And,
well, I think that's the point, though. Yep. Isn't that the point? They've already realized that. They already realized the context. They already realized the situation in which they are living right now. And they realize, hey, we're stuck.
Yeah. Well, they're stuck, and because they're stuck, I think what you said reads to be true. They're going to start with Wentz as the starting quarterback. I wonder if Sirianni gets a quick hook. If he looks the same as he did through 3-4 games, does he say, all right, we gave you a shot? That remains to be seen. We'll have to wait until September, October to ask Sal Pal about that. But before we let you go, your piece that aired on SportsCenter today comparing this Tampa Bay Bucs team to the New England Patriots was very striking of the similarities between the Brady Pats and the Brady Bucs.
And Brady put the whole team together. Scotty Miller, he's Julian Edelman light. He's Wes Welker light. Gronk is Gronk. You look at Leonard Fournette, there's LeGarrette Blount, there's Corey Dillon. You look at the way he runs the offense, 5 wide in New England, 2 tight end sets in New England. He uses Cameron Brate and Gronk on the field at the same time. Likes to spread them out with Godwin and Evans and Antonio Brown. The offense is the same. And you look at also one part of the piece that didn't make air because we just didn't have time. Todd Bowles is a Bill Parcells acolyte. He coached under Parcells in Dallas. He learned a lot of what he knows from Parcells, just like Bill Belichick did. But Belichick learned it from Parcells in New York with the Giants. So there are a lot of similarities to these two teams, New England and Tampa, and it's not by accident. This is the team that was engineered by Tom Brady in many, many ways.
Well, it was a great piece. We can't wait for the Super Bowl. Andy Reid could get his second, and, of course, Tom Brady can get like his 500th, it seems like. So something memorable will happen. Sal Paolantonio all over Super Bowl 55, and, of course, the Eagles offseason right here on the Sports Bash and the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. And that's got to give a nice thanks and a shout-out on a Friday to our boy Johnny G, Burger Realty over there.
Absolutely. Johnny G. Thank you, Johnny G. And the Griner team at Burger Realty in Ocean City. Hey, Mike, I'm going down to Tampa in the morning. I will check in with you. Why don't I check in with you Tuesday and Friday next week? Does that work?
Tuesday, Friday. I wrote it down. You're in my book.
All right, we'll check in. We'll give you a little lay of the land on Tuesday, and then on Friday we'll call the game.
Sounds good. All right, there you go. A Sal Pal Tuesday and Friday next week right here on the Sports Bash. Safe flight. Enjoy Tampa, Sal.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
All right, he like August appeared via the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. There you go. We just got a Sal Pal Tuesday and a Friday next week.
Yeah, he said a lot of interesting things.
We will get to those takes. I like that fact that you were kind of taking notes there and can recoup some of the things he said, because you're right. He said some very interesting things. There's no place like your home, and if you have a leak or need a new roof, call Dorothy Gale Roofing, 877-97-KEVIN. Visit them online at DorothyGale.com. When we come back, it's Inside the Sixers. Sixers tonight against the T-Wolves. Paul Hudrick will join us. We'll get the latest on the hometown five. Kevin Durso will talk a little Fly Guys with us as well at 3:40.
We never stop talking Eagles and NFL. It's football at 4. Every day at 4 p.m. on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Kendall Auto Plaza offers the area's best car and truck buying experience with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. What's on their 100-acre lot? A huge inventory of Ford, Lincoln, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and over 100 quality and certified pre-owned vehicles. Whether you use your car, truck, or SUV for work or play, discover why Kendall customers are so loyal. Kendall Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or shop from home at KendallAutoplaza.com.
Weightlifters and fitness enthusiasts, you got to check out weightliftinghq.com. They are a local company right here in South Jersey that operates fully online and caters to weightlifters and fitness enthusiasts interested in working out from home. They offer high-end weightlifting and fitness equipment available to be delivered right to your home. Check them out online at weightliftinghq.com and use the code RADIO10 at checkout for 10% off your entire order. That's code RADIO10 at weightliftinghq.com.
2020 is history, so let South Jersey Federal Credit Union help you start making the most of 2021. The credit union gives you the chance to save with lower interest rates on loans and higher rates on savings. Sick of banking fees? Open a free checking account with no monthly fees or a minimum balance. And with a new qualifying account, you may be able to earn a cash bonus of $20.21 every month for a year. For details, stop into a local branch or visit southjerseyfcu.com. Insured by NCUA.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Buonasera.
Buonasera. How can I make the most of waiting for my next big vacation?
Translate your questions into goals by investing with Merrill Edge Self-Directed. It's more accessible than you think, with helpful planning tools plus free online stock and ETF trades, so you can keep practicing your pronunciation. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer member SIPC. Other fees may apply. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
On some models, excludes Corvette with GMF financing, excludes fire sale. See dealer for details.
Start the new year in a new Chevy at Bennett Chevy. Come see all the hot new 2021s and get our famous unbeatable Bennett deal. GM supplier employee pricing, plus you keep all the rebates. And right now, that could be up to 25% off MSRP. Yes, up to 25% off. Shop all you want, but there's just no beating Bennett. Looking for pre-owned? Bennett will pay you a minimum $7,000 for your trade towards any pre-owned in stock. That's at least $7,000, regardless of how or even if your old car runs. Imagine how much you'll get for a good trade. And you will absolutely love dealing with Bennett. There's no games, no gimmicks, just real deals and no need to negotiate, because our non-commissioned sales team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Find new roads and start the new year in a new Chevy at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
There's only one original stuffed crust, and it's only from Pizza Hut. The only place that gives you up to 3 toppings on your original stuffed crust for just $11.99. Order yours online at pizzahut.com. Ask or click for limited time offer. Extra charge for more toppings and extra cheese. Exclusions apply.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Happy Hour Friday. Don't forget Pete Thompson tonight at 5 o'clock. We'll talk to the PT. Thanks to Sal Paolantonio, of course, who joins us on Sal Pal Fridays. Adam Caplan tonight at 4 o'clock for reaction to Nick Sirianni's press conference. Yeah, it wasn't all that to write home about, but we've seen bad press conferences. Doug's wasn't great. He won a Super Bowl.
Doug wasn't good ever standing in front of that microphone.
Yeah, don't judge him based on that. But what we will do is judge the Sixers based on their Tuesday nights in February, their Thursday nights in March, because we want to see this team go deep. Breaking it down with us right now, 97.3 ESPN.com. He is the host of the Coming In for a Landing podcast. It's Paul Hudrick right now on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. What's going on, Paul?
Just living, Mike. How about you?
Friday is always fun, especially when the Eagles throw you a press conference that makes you scratch your head like crazy. But the Sixers back in action tonight. You can hear the game 8 o'clock on 97.3 ESPN. They take on the Timberwolves. And I guess, everybody's kind of looking back. Now, the Lakers lost again last night. They had the back-to-back. They lost to that Detroit team that the Sixers lost to the other day. So I guess we start to question a lot of things. Does losing to the Pistons mean as much? Does beating the Lakers mean it much? Like this Friday night game is kind of like stuck in limbo of all these little intricacies that happened since Monday. You lost to the Pistons, then you beat the Lakers, then the Lakers lost to the Pistons. It's just like been a weird, odd week for the Sixers.
Well, I think it's just been a weird, odd week weird, odd season for the entire NBA, just with everything going on. And the Pistons, they only have, I think, 5 wins, but they're against the Sixers, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Heat, and then one other elite team that I'm leaving out. So it's just, I think it's just a weird season. And that Detroit team, they're scrappy, man. I mean, they obviously don't have the talent level of a team like the Lakers or the Sixers, but they're scrappy. And it's also worth noting Lakers didn't have Anthony Davis last night. They did obviously have him against the Sixers. So it's a little bit different. Tonight's going to be a weird night too, because Joel Embiid is questionable. For the Timberwolves, Karl-Anthony Towns is out and D'Angelo Russell is questionable. So it could be another weird, wacky night for the Sixers. And I think it's just with this season, as much as we normally have to roll with the punches with a long season, I think this season especially is going to be weirder than any we've experienced.
Yep. And then obviously, so they beat the Lakers the other night. We didn't get a chance to talk to you after that game, but Joel monstrous in that game. But really the big shot from Tobias Harris. And I guess that really sparks a lot of thoughts. Can Tobias be that Batman to Joel's Robin and let Ben be the third guy? Do we start to look at Tobias differently because he made that shot?
I think it's not even just that shot. I think it's his season as a whole. And when you look back on when when they made the decision to re-sign Tobias, the idea was Joel Embiid is your guy. He's your go-to scorer. And that you wanted Tobias to be the because listen, Ben Simmons is probably never going to be a 20-plus point a game guy. That's just not his game. And Mike, I think you've made the excellent point that he doesn't have to be. Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. They didn't have to have that. They didn't have to be that guy in order for that team to have success because they had Michael Jordan. Well, in this team, you have Joel Embiid, who has arguably been the best player in the NBA this year. So Tobias, if he can just add that complementary scoring. And then, like you said, Ben Simmons can be that facilitator. He can be that defensive player of the year type player. There's a formula there that I think can work, but it requires Tobias Harris to play at this level all season long. He doesn't have to score 30 points a game, but if he can get you around 20, be really efficient, be teetering around that 50, 40, 90 mark. If he can be that guy, there is a formula there that I think can work for them that can lead to them being one of the top tier teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, there's a quick stat that I saw today that kind of eye-popping is that the Sixers starting 5 hits on 45% of three-pointers on passes from Ben Simmons. It just shows you how open they get because of him. 45% when he is not on the court. That number drops to 29%. So it shows the importance. And assisted three-pointers made this year, he is number one in the league with 76 assists that have led to three-point baskets. So this kind of goes to, if he scores 11, but he dishes out 11 assists and they end up being three-pointers, I don't care where you get the points from, just get them. But will that hold up in the playoffs, I guess, remains to be seen.
Yeah, 100%. That's with Ben Simmons his whole career. That's what it's been, okay, well, let's see what happens in the playoffs. Last year we didn't get to see it in the playoffs because obviously he had the injury. But it's going to come down to, that was a great game he played, like against the Lakers. I think that was, again, when we talk about that blueprint, that formula, I think that was it to a T. It was Joel Embiid was going to get the ball, early and often. Then as you saw the Lakers be way more aggressive, plus I think the back affected Joel later in that game as well. But then you saw Tobias step up in the scoring role. You saw Ben, when he had the opportunities in the fast break, he took them. When he had the opportunities to get to the rim, he took those and he scored. So I think that was kind of the best version of all of it. But yeah, with Ben Simmons, that version is great. The way he played against the Lakers, I thought it was close to perfect. That's what you want out of him against elite teams. But can he do that against elite teams in the playoffs is definitely going to be the question. And there's going to be other tests down the road, when they play the Brooklyn Nets, when they play the Miami Heat again, when they're at full strength, when they play the Celtics, when they're at full strength, how will he look then? So there are going to be tests along the way, but the measuring stick is it's going to be, can he do it against the elite competition in the playoffs? And there is a formula that can work, but will it work? We have to wait and see.
Yeah, the big run that the Lakers made down the stretch, do you correlate Ben Simmons having to be hanging around in that dunker spot and maybe some of the sloppy offense with that Lakers run, or is it not so much, that being a big input? Because, I think about you mentioning the playoff Ben, and is that something you're going to have to utilize in playoff moments? Ben hanging around that dunker spot in those areas. And I'm just trying to see if the two correlated.
Yeah, I do. I think not only just the dunker spot, I think him in pick and rolls and him setting screens. I think that's been, and I know that's not the sexiest thing in the world is to say, hey, he's really good at setting screens, but he is. He's really good at setting screens, and he's really good at at finding soft spots in the defense. You've seen when Joel Embiid has gotten double teams, he's done a better job at finding those little soft spots around the rim. Joel Embiid has kind of been, as much as he has improved as a passer, I think every once in a while maybe he's missed him on those little cuts and those little duck-ins, but I think that the Lakers run, like the run they went on in that fourth quarter, is twofold. I think it's one, they are the Lakers. They are a championship caliber team. They have the best player on the planet, and they have another elite, arguably top 5 talent on their team with Anthony Davis. And then I think it's the Sixers had a big lead and they took their foot off the gas. I don't think it's necessarily about Ben Simmons and where he was on the floor at that point. I think it was just the game. I think it was, like I said, the Lakers being great, the Sixers taking their foot off the gas, and I thought instead of really being aggressive offensively, I thought that they were just trying to run the clock out and hoping that would work. And I thought that was a really poor strategy, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, these are going to be questions that are going to have to be answered. I think there is a role in the half court with Ben Simmons, and I don't think it's necessarily initiating the offense. I think it's more being in that dunker spot, setting screens, rolling to the basket, cutting, and finding those little soft spots on duck-ins. I think that's the role in clutch moments in half-court offense. That's where you want to see him.
Hey, Paul, what did you think of Danny Green the other night when he was asked about Ben Simmons playing with Joel Embiid? I thought that was kind of an interesting, telling answer a little bit.
Yeah, Danny Green, since he's gotten here, has been a big proponent of pushing Ben Simmons to say, hey, I think you need to shoot more. I think you can do it. I think you just have to do it in games. And, Danny's response when he was asked specifically, hey, like, have you, because Danny Green has had so much success playing around all-star players and, Hall of Fame players for that matter, has he talked to Ben about how he can fit in around Joel Embiid? And Danny Green's response was, well, I think that Ben should force us to play around him sometimes. Because he can be that good, especially when there's a situation where they are aggressively double teaming Joel Embiid or where a matchup just really happens to favor Ben Simmons. And Danny Green pointed to the fact that, late in that game, Dennis Schroeder was on Ben Simmons. If Dennis Schroeder is on Ben Simmons, that's a clear and present mismatch that maybe they should have taken advantage of that they didn't. Now, is that coaching? Maybe a little bit. Is that on Ben Simmons? Maybe a little bit. Is that on the team around him for maybe not recognizing that? I think it's all a factor. But I do think Danny Green's comments were interesting and pointed. And I think, the fact that Ben Simmons has Danny Green pushing him, that he has Sam Cassell pushing him, these are all positive things. And I think it allows Doc Rivers to almost play a little bit of that good cop role, because we see in public he says nothing but glowing things to say about Ben Simmons. So I think there's a little bit of that good cop, bad cop role that some of these guys play with him, and I think it's worked so far.
What did you think of the multi-option play Doc Rivers called to get Tobias that shot? He actually gave Danny Green a ton of praise for reading it right just from the start.
Yeah, I think, it was a very similar play to what they called at the end of the Memphis game. It didn't work out because Tobias Harris got too deep on that play and then winds up stepping on the baseline, and that causes a turnover. But I like it because I liked the initial look of getting Seth Curry in that pick and roll, and then that switch happens where you get Tobias on Caruso and not LeBron. And, Tobias is 6'8", so he could just elevate over Caruso, just a couple dribbles to his left and just elevates right over top of him. Whereas if that's LeBron, that shot's not even an option. Or if they do switch it a different way and maybe it gives Seth Curry an open look, I do think it was a good optionality look, because clearly the Lakers are going to be focusing on Joel Embiid. There was no way they wanted Joel Embiid to get the ball in the post to try to beat them. So I thought it was a good layered play. I thought Tobias had the hot hand, so it wasn't, it's good to put him in a situation where he does have that option. And then ultimately it comes down to Tobias being so confident and playing at such a high level that he was able to make that shot.
All right, Paul Hudrick, don't forget Sixers and the T-Wolves tonight. You can hear the game on 97.3 ESPN. It starts at 8 p.m. It's an 8 p.m. tip tonight. And as Paul mentioned, Karl Anthony Towns and most likely D'Angelo Russell. So it's not going to be a full squad for the Timberwolves, but we'll see how the Sixers rebound. Do you anticipate Embiid playing tonight? Not that we've seen anything, but he did take that fall, and they're missing a couple. Maybe this is one of those nights because you do have a busy week, including a back-to-back coming up.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, I learned a long time ago to never, ever speculate on Joel Embiid being questionable and whether he's going to play or not, because it always seems to be the opposite. So I will say that the fact that he traveled seems encouraging, because if they already knew he wasn't going to play, he wouldn't even have gone to Minnesota. So the fact that he's there, I think, is a positive. We're going to talk to Doc Rivers, in a couple hours, and I think we'll get a little bit more of a clear idea of whether or not he'll play. I do think, Mike, that there is something to the idea of, Karl Anthony Towns isn't playing. There's a chance D'Angelo Russell isn't playing. This is, I mean, the other night it should have been a team they should have beat with the Pistons too, but this is a team they should be able to beat. They have to avoid that letdown because, coming off of such a big win, they have to be ready and focused to play a team that's not as good. So, I think there is definitely a precedent for him not to play, but we'll see. We'll see how the back's feeling. Again, the fact that he made the trip seems encouraging in that regard, but still very much up in the air to me.
I think we all want to see the aggression of Ben Simmons tonight. Is he going to be laid back, Ben, and he just lets everybody else kind of do the thing? Or is he going to fire it up and get 15, 17, 18 points and play an aggressive game? That will be the story that I'm watching tonight, and you can hear it all right here on 97.3 ESPN. He's at Paul Hudrick. Follow him on Twitter for more. Make sure you listen to the latest edition of Coming In for a Landing, the podcast. He talks with Amy Fadul. It's a good conversation on the Sixers. Check that out. At Paul Hudrick on Twitter is where you can find it. And, of course, he'll be back on Monday to recap inside the Sixers weekend here on the Sports Bash. All right, Paul, take care, man.
You too, Mike. Thanks, man.
All right, there you go. Paul Hudrick, great stuff. And he, like August, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline, and he will be all over the Sixers, as will our team of Sixers insiders, Jason Blevins, Kevin McCormick. Blevins is on tonight to preview the Sixers and, I was going to say the Twins, the T-Wolves, the Twinkies.
I'd be stunned if Embiid plays tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought the point he made about him traveling.
That was big. That kind of did put a little thought in my mind, but this feels like a perfect, hey, let's just rest that lower back kind of game. And I'd be okay with it.
It does feel, but get out there and play.
Yeah, it's a different Embiid.
Oh,
it's a different Embiid.
That's what I'm saying. Be different. Be like LeBron plays every night. Be out there and say, I want to play every night. Has an opportunity to say, no, get out there and play. Speaking of which, the Flyers played last night, and Carter Hart was excellent. We'll talk about the win, but the defense from Prosser, he was the man last night. He scored that goal. Then he was on the PK.
He logged a lot of PK minutes.
Our Flyers insider, Kevin Durso, next.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Free ball by Tobias is good. Oh, baby. Like manna from heaven. Tobias Harris.
The Sixers are in Minnesota to face the T-Wolves. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN.
Stop the countdown. It's not a new year we're celebrating. It's an all-new Matt Blatt Nissan. Yes, you heard right. Matt Blatt Nissan is now open on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, next to Home Depot, and online at mattblattnissan.com. Help us celebrate when you get out of that old car, truck, or SUV and into a brand new Nissan with the Matt Blatt Nissan Fast Track Checkout. Available online at mattblattnissan.com. Our non-touch delivery and electronic paperwork ensures your safety comes first. Plus, Matt Blatt Nissan wants your trade. Bring it in today and help us celebrate the all-new Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, or visit us online. We want to help with your credit approval. And don't forget, with Matt Blatt, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Celebrate the all-new Matt Blatt Nissan online at mattblattnissan.com. Credit may affect terms. Negative equity will be refinanced in the new vehicle. Get all the details at mattblattnissan.com. Let's get it on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Harbor Township.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. But maybe you're unaware of new tools that can help your business stand out. Go to getlocalcustomersnow.com for a free market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too. There's no cost and no obligation. Be one of the first business owners to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Get started today. Visit getlocalcustomersnow.com. That's getlocalcustomersnow.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing. We can help you replace those wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably time. We've got a wide selection of wipers that can stand up to any weather, including the right ones for your make and model. We've even got more ways to get them fast, like our next day delivery or free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Help Heal Veterans helps veterans with PTSD and stress from military service and isolation during the coronavirus. For the next minute, let's take a minute to relieve stress together. We'll do the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. First, sit with your back straight. Second, place your tongue against the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth. Now, exhale through your mouth and around your tongue. If this seems awkward, shape your lips like you're whistling. Close your mouth and inhale through your nose for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for the count of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale completely through your mouth. Make a whoosh sound and count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do this cycle 3 more times. Learn more at healvets.org. This message is furnished by Help Heal Veterans.
Sam's new project needs a project manager right away if she's going to manage to hit her deadline.
It took an extra week to get approvals, but they still want the original delivery date. I guess we'll figure something out.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
There's only one original stuffed crust, and it's only from Pizza Hut. The only place that gives you up to 3 toppings on your original stuffed crust for just $11.99. Order yours online at pizzahut.com. Ask or click for limited time offer. Extra charge for more toppings and extra cheese. Exclusions apply.
You can watch the Sports Bash live now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Search 97.3 ESPN or visit our website, 97.3ESPN.com.
All right, Sports Bash, 20 till the top of the hour here. And, of course, the Flyers in action with a win over the Devils. A little sweep.
They did. They swept the Devils.
And your boy Prosser, who you said the Flyers would have been better if they called you to play defense, not only put the biscuit in the basket, he was out there on the PK.
Well, I would have been on the PK and probably scoring 2 goals. So how about that?
Yeah, okay. Kevin Durso covered it And, of course, he covers the Flyers for 97.3 ESPN.com. And he joins us now on the Sports Bash Boardwalk Honda Hotline and on the video stream at 97.3 ESPN.com. There he is, Kevin Durso. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? Happy Friday.
It is a happy Friday when, of course, the Flyers pick up the win and they get 2 in a row. But, man, you're watching that game closely last night, as I know everybody really was, and said, what the heck was going on for 2 periods there? And it was just ugly stuff. They get the goal from Prosser, but my gosh, that defense is still a mess.
Yeah, it is, and especially for the first 2 periods of that game, it was really the whole situation was a mess. But at the same time, it's really hard to single out just the defenseman in this case. It's not just the defenseman, it's the forwards as well. And it's really noticeable how little support they have from the forwards to help the defenseman with simple plays. I mean, there's so much space between the forwards and the defenseman on certain situations that it just makes it more difficult to connect on a pass or to get a clean breakout. And they were doing better at some of those things as the game went on. I think really you saw in the third period how effective they can be when they have clean breakouts, when they make the smart and simple play, and when they play with some energy. But it was really a struggle for 2 periods. And there was a lot of things about those first 2 periods that were completely unacceptable.
Yeah, and I know that you're playing the Devils, who are, they're playing well this year, but they're not regarded as a very good team coming in. But what I want to ask you is, even though they don't have a lot of offensive firepower, the night that Hart had and how he played in that game, that I don't want to say maybe it looked like a turning of the corner a little bit, but I heard you, in the pregame with Josh the other night talking about, how well Elliott had played and that, Hart had not been playing well. Well, last night he played maybe his best game of the year.
Yeah, I think so. And it was really necessary for him to have that kind of game. I told Josh last night that I felt like he was excited for the opportunity that's what Tuesday off gave him. It gave him a chance to sit on that game from Saturday, to want to be better and to be motivated for it. And I think he definitely was up to the task for everything. He was outstanding in the first 2 periods. That one goal that he allowed, you could question whether that was on him. He said it was more on him. He's got to play it better. You could question whether or not Eric Gustafsson got a piece of that or maybe just took away a bit of an angle for him. But regardless, beyond that, he was outstanding. He made a lot of great saves. I think about the opportunities that the Devils got. One was for Andreas Janssen in that second period where he stacks the pads, and another one where they come up the ice. They've got, at one point in time, they got a 4-on-1, and Jack Hughes is the guy who gets the puck, and he's pretty scary when he gets the puck at this point because he's really growing quickly into a top player for this team. And Hart's up to the task again. It felt like he was just in the right position all the time. I had told Josh last night, it felt like it wasn't like he was miles away from what he was the year before and things like that. He's just a tick off maybe with some fundamentals or positioning. I don't think he was off on anything last night. He was outstanding from top to bottom.
Yeah, 2 things stood out to me in that third period. It's AV's commitment to the fourth line with Aube, Cabell, Raffle, and Bunneman, and Claude Giroux's emotion. I thought that really showed. So what are your thoughts on those 2?
Well, the fourth line was outstanding in this game, and I really have to commend the play of Connor Bunneman because since he's been thrown into the lineup, I think he's done a really great job being in that role. It's a role that fits him really well. It fits his style well. It fits his size well. So he does a lot of good things in that role. And they've gotten big goals over the years from Michael Raffle and guys like that. Nick Aube-Kubel last year had a few really big ones too. And they're guys who, when they can step up and deliver in that way, that could be the ticket to a win if you get those guys to contribute in that way. And on a night when Alain Vigneault was not very happy with the top 2 lines by any stretch, and he kind of called them out after the game, that's why he started the third period with that fourth line. They were back on the ice 2 minutes into the period. That's when they scored a goal, and they were on the ice constantly throughout the period. And instead of kind of favoring your top 2 lines or your top 3 lines as the period goes on and you're trying to play shut down and finish off the win, it was the opposite. They were shutting down with the fourth line on the ice because that was the most effective line for them. And in terms of Giroux, I think Giroux got the payoff finally on a goal. We thought he had one in Boston last week, and it turned out to not be his goal. It was deflected, but he finally gets the payoff, and his emotion in this game, that is where he steps up as a leader to that sense, because they were not getting a lot of calls in the first 2 periods, and they were struggling to put some things together, and his frustration boiling over there a little bit helps the team get a little bit of fire going into the third period. So I think that all those things put together set the stage for what was probably one of the best periods the Flyers have played in the last 3-4 games.
Kevin Durso covers the Flyers. Let's kind of go through, though, from your perspective, why was Prosser there? What was the message? And then he played pretty well. I mean, he's not a long-term solution, obviously, but why was he there? What was the message? Because for people who are not aware, Nate Prosser is a guy who's a journeyman, basically an older guy, and hasn't played the league in a couple of years. It was very surprising to see that he was even on the roster, let alone on the ice, and scored a goal, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I texted Brodes last night about this, that I had told Josh he's a stay-at-home defenseman. He doesn't activate too often. And then look at where he is in the first period. He's 9 minutes into the game, his first game in 2 years in the NHL. And he's up on the play right by the crease, putting home a rebound. It's, that was the last guy I expected to score last night for sure. But the reason he was there is because there are messages being sent at this point. And I think that it really goes back to the Saturday game against Boston when Eric Gustafsson had a really rough game, and he'd had probably a couple to that point leading into that, but then he's the guy who comes out of the lineup, and Shane Gostisbehere is ready to come back in, so Gostisbehere goes in on Tuesday and plays. After the Tuesday game, they're still not liking some of the things they're seeing, so now it's Mark Friedman's out, Robert Haig's out, and you keep Gostisbehere in, Gustafsson goes back in, and you bring in a guy like Prosser, who is really far down the line in terms of the depth chart. I mean, you can take, it's interesting because sure, Phil Myers is out right now, and you had Gostisbehere out for the stretch of time because of the COVID situation that he was in. But when you have Gostisbehere back and he's available, and the only guy who's unavailable is Myers, you would assume that you could come up with the other 6 guys pretty easily. I mean, they had 8 on the roster to begin with. So this is a pretty clear message that they're going to bring in another guy who was at best the 9th option. We have to dress 6 in a game, but he's the 9th guy in line who would get thrown into a lineup. And you're going to do that over guys who play on a regular basis, guys like Haig, guys like Gustafsson, and Gustafsson played last night, like I said, but still he's been out of the lineup for a game too. So very clearly you're putting a guy in who you think, I thought it was interesting because Alain Vigneault said before the game, he just thought he was going to get a simple game out of him, with a veteran approach to it, but simple and effective plays from him. And that's exactly what you got from him, because not only does he score the goal, but he plays 4 minutes on the penalty kill. He logged 13 good minutes of ice time, and it wasn't, he's on the pair with the lowest ice time at the end of the night, but they're important minutes, especially the penalty kill ones, because you didn't give up a power play goal in the game. So he obviously did his job in that regard. And for the most part, I was impressed with his game considering he hadn't played at that level in 2 years. He was certainly not your issue in this game. And that's a, interesting thing to see, because now you got to make a decision going into the weekend with the Islanders coming up. Do you keep Prosser in the lineup? What's Phil Myers' status at this point? Because AV had said he's real close at this point. So it's kind of trying to come down to whether or not Myers is available. Do you keep Prosser in? Do you keep other guys like Haig and Friedman out? There's a lot of decisions for this team to make, and I think that anybody who is on the wrong end of that decision needs to pay some close attention to it, because there's a reason why they're not playing.
Yeah, I think if Prosser continues to play this way, I mean, you at least have to give him another opportunity, because he did play strong enough. How do you assess Joel Farabee and Nolan Patrick to this point? Because Joel Farabee started out with 4-point night, and then he kind of died out. He had a goal the other night in the third period, which was huge. And Nolan Patrick, same thing, scored in game 1 with a nice, just hit off of him. But hey, they don't ask how. But same with him. Like, how do you assess these two guys?
Well, it's a little harder with Nolan Patrick because of how long it was since he played. But, there were a couple moments, I think really specifically in the Boston games, that I just didn't like from him at all. Otherwise, the first 4 games of the season when they played the 2 against Pittsburgh, the 2 against Buffalo, I thought he was fine for, what he had to do and trying to kind of get adjusted to a game again. And he kind of picked that back up against the Devils a little bit. Now, he was on one of those lines that kind of got the ire of AV last night, that was not among the ones that were performing the way that they thought they should. And that'll allow me to transition nicely to Joel Farabee, who was on one of the lines who AV praised at the end of the game, talking about Scott Lawton's line, which has Farabee and Oscar Lindblom on it. And that's another line that just came in and delivered with a lot of energy. Farabee, you could, from the very beginning, I think was 2 minutes into the game, you turned the speed on in the neutral zone, got Ty Smith flat-footed, he falls over, you get a couple good shots, good chances out of that, just because of the fact that he used that speed well. So his energy level picked back up, I think, over the last 2 games because of that. He's really gotten more opportunities. I think that goal really got him going too, because now he's gotten the payoff for something. So it's still a process with him because he's only in his second season, but he's going to be leaned on to be a big part of the offensive side. And now that he finally got back there 2 games ago and had another pretty strong game last night as well, I think that he is on his way to doing, more bigger and better things in the games to come.
All right, we'll end with this and get a look at the injury situation, as we know the Flyers do have a bunch of injuries, but how are they looking there? Because obviously they need some of these injured guys back, mainly Couturier and the situation with him. Frost, who replaced him, he's out as well, we know. And also on defense, who am I forgetting? Myers, yes.
Well, I'll start with the easy one because Myers is closing in on coming back. We just don't know exactly when. I think that the timeline that matches up the best is probably the Wednesday game coming up against Boston next week. The weekend's going to be a little questionable. They didn't practice today. They had a day off. So, they had a day off, but Phil Myers was on the ice earlier today for a little bit of a skills session. So he's continuing to try to push to get back. I don't know if he's going to be in tomorrow. It might be a little too soon to assume that, but maybe Sunday. And if not, I think Wednesday's probably on the table for him. Couturier is going to be a little bit more longer term than that. Alain Vigneault said the other day that his injury status, he still thinks he's a couple of weeks away. And, that still gives you a little bit of an uphill battle to fight because of the fact that you rely on him so much for the defensive side. He can contribute on the offensive side as he's proven, being the reigning Selke Trophy winner. And he's a hard guy to replace, but you're going to have to continue to find a way to do that. And there's really nothing to talk about with Frost at this time. He was just out indefinitely from the beginning. The good news for this team is that, there was a moment in last night's game where Oscar Lindblom took a stick to the midsection or kind of took a hit off the boards that turned out to be a shoulder, and everybody was worried it was a midsection injury or something like that, and he was back out for his next shift. So they're kind of weathering the storm right now because at least it's not starting to pile up any further than what it was. You have those 3 guys out. Myers is really getting close at this point, so you'll be back to having 2 guys out, one who really is the significant piece there, and that might be the only guy you're without for right now. So it's a good sign that they have some of the injuries turning the corner a little bit, but they're not quite there yet. So they've got to still find a way to improve a lot of the other things. And the execution is probably the biggest thing because it's, I thought Alain Vigneault said something really telling last night when it was about, it's on the players to come in with the right mindset to execute and to compete. And if we're not seeing the performance that we think we expect, it's on the players at that point in time. And Alain Vigneault really, set the bar with that one. So without Sean Couturier, without Phil Myers for now, maybe they have him back this weekend or mid next week. Without those 2 guys, you got to find a way. And lucky for them so far, at 5-2-1, they're finding a way to win games, even though it doesn't look the best.
He's Kevin Durso, and don't forget the Flyers and the Islanders. Of course, the Islanders knocked the Fly Guys out of the playoffs last year. They will get a chance back-to-back, Saturday, Sunday, and you can hear the game tonight, Saturday night on 97.3 ESPN, 7 o'clock. Kevin_Durso. Follow him on Twitter. And, of course, he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk on the Hotline. All right, Kevin, take care, man.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right, there he goes. Our Flyers insider, Kevin Durso, on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Sports Bash is brought to you by Matt Blatt Kia. They want to get you approved today. That's Matt Blatt Kia, Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. So the Flyers win 3-1 last night. They'll play the Islanders on Saturday and Sunday, and they've got a busy week. Wednesday, Boston. Friday, Boston. Sunday, Washington. Tuesday, Washington. Then back to a double dip with Jersey. So almost every other night for the Orange and Black. When we come back, what did Adam Caplan think about Nick Sirianni's opening presser?
Tonight on Compass Media Network's coverage of NCAA basketball. It's a heavyweight showdown in the Big Ten as the Illinois Fighting Illini host the Iowa Hawkeyes. Hi, this is Jeff Biggs. Join Bill Rosinski, Doug Gottlieb, and myself for all the action as National Player of the Year candidate Luka Garza and the Hawkeyes look for a tough road victory over Ayo Dosunmu and the Fighting Illini. It's Illinois and Iowa. If it's NCAA basketball, it's right here.
The college basketball season continues. Coverage begins after Sixers basketball.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, brought to you by Angelic Health Telehealth.
Stress takes its toll on us both physically and mentally, so it stands to reason that stress relief should be part of our routine, just like exercise. In fact, some people believe meditation is the equivalent of working out for our mind. Meditation might conjure an image of a yogi sitting cross-legged for hours at the top of a mountain, but it can actually be done almost anywhere, even if it's just for a few minutes, and it can have amazing benefits. When you're meditating and deep breathing, you focus your attention and eliminate the stream of jumbled thoughts that may be crowding your mind and causing stress. Meditation can give you a sense of calm, peace, and balance that benefits your entire body. So take a deep breath and feel the stress melt away. If you want to try meditation, we have some easy ways to get started on our website. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Brought to you by Angelic Telehealth. They're by your side. Visit angelic.health today.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Body Armor Light isn't just a sports drink. It's more than a sports drink. With no artificial sweeteners, no sugar added, and only 20 calories per 16-ounce bottle. Body Armor Light is changing the game when it comes to hydration. Plus potassium-packed electrolytes, coconut water, antioxidants, and vitamins make Body Armor Light the perfect choice for your next workout and your active lifestyle. Body Armor Light, more than a sports drink. Head to drinkbodyarmor.com to learn more.
You have the choice, whether it's going out for dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique. Those choices help to put money back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local businesses.
Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals. AmbientComfortNJ.com.
Filling Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. FillingMarble.com.
Dennisville Fence, serving you since 1952. Be the envy of your neighborhood.
East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows services all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Call East Coast today at 609-646-1444. Online at eastcoastroofing.com.
Comfort Now by Bob McAllister. Improve the comfort in your home. Call 609-400-1005 and ask about discounts and rebate incentives. Visit iwantcomfortnow.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses. From Town Square Media South Jersey.
If you're struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to take action and get professional help. Call Recovery Centers of America at 1-888-RECOVERY today. You are worthy of recovery from your addiction, and calling RCA will be your first step in getting the help you need. Recovery Centers of America answers the phone and admits patients 24/7. And because safety is a top priority, all patients and staff are routinely tested for COVID-19. RCA's expert team of physicians and medical professionals will treat you with compassion and dignity and provide an evidence-based treatment plan that is custom-tailored to your specific needs. Recovery Centers of America at Devon and Lighthouse are local and in-network with insurance providers, so they're best-in-class inpatient and outpatient care, offered both in-person and via teletherapy, is affordable and accessible. Make this the year you conquer your addiction. Call today, 1-888-RECOVERY.
Like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The radio home of the 76ers.
Into the lane, reverse windmill jam. Are you kidding me?
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJHD, Millville, Atlantic City. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4 with Adam Caplan.
I have real confidence that our football operations can once again create a dominant football team.
Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. It's Football at 4.
It is Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast and brought to you by Dr. Lyle M. Back. For everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery, go to ilovelylback.com. Call 856-MAKEOVER. For Dr. Lyle M. Back, proud sponsor of Football at 4 here on the Sports Bash, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It drops every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m. And, of course, Nick Sirianni spoke to the media today for the first time and we'll bring Adam Caplan in from the Inside the Birds podcast and get his take on what we actually heard there, because Adam, I don't even know where to start. I mean, I think Lurie's still rambling.
Yeah, good to be with you guys. I was a little bit surprised that Lurie went on 16 minutes uninterrupted. That to me was not what I expected. Typically, opening remarks are 3 to 5 minutes at most, and then you hand it off to the new head coach. And by the way, this is interesting. The Texans press conference, right? The Eagles ended at 1 Eastern. The Texans started at 1 Eastern for David Culley, the former Eagles receivers coach, as the new Texas head coach. Cal McNair, their owner, talked maybe 3 minutes, but then they handed it off to the general manager. Did you find it interesting that Harry Roseman did not talk today?
I did. In fact, I said to Brodes earlier, I said, they should have had, if you're going to have Lurie talk that long, all three of them. Now, it's hard because of this COVID situation and you're on a Zoom call if this was a normal time, would all three of them have been up at the podium with you guys in the room?
Yeah, it's funny because that was someone remarked to me. It's really difficult to have a blind press conference when the people are not in front of you. He's in the auditorium, Nick Sirianni, and the people are not there. He's just looking at a screen, and it's more difficult. But listen, you're right. There's nothing anyone can do about it. That's the setup we have to have for COVID. But
what is it? Let me ask you, Adam. Is it a screen, like a drop down, a big screen, or is it just like is he looking at like a laptop?
I heard it was a decent sized screen, but someone happened to say something to me about it. But look, the fact of the matter is, Mike, as much as I sometimes enjoy Jeffrey Lurie speaking, I don't think we needed 16 minutes without. And here's the other thing: where were the follow-ups? Well, why couldn't the media ask questions to this guy? I don't understand that. Another part of it, which I didn't understand. I'm not one who usually complains about this stuff, but I would have liked to, since Roseman was not available, why couldn't the reporters ask follow-ups?
Not only that, I said the same thing I felt like why did they cut it short? It was like, what were you up against here? Who was throwing you out of was somebody?
Other than unless they were thinking nationally, because the Texans were starting their press conference at the same time. At 1 o'clock, that's when the Eagles ended it. Sirianni got just under 45 minutes. Now, that's not an unreasonable amount of time. But remember, the first 10 minutes or so, he was just thanking people.
Right. He went on an Academy Awards speech there. And everybody.
But look, it's typical that these head coaches do that. They want to thank all their friends and family and coaches and all that. But overall, being in these press conferences before and asking questions, I would have liked to. And I understand that you couldn't do it face-to-face. And as we get into this, as we break it down, there's some things that clearly should have been answered and were not. And I thought the media completely missed on some things today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What was your overall thought, though, of like the delivery and how he handled just from a delivery standpoint and like his message getting across?
Listen, Hunter, before we get into the Wentz stuff, because you know it was coming, and that was when Moshe and I dropped our show this morning, that was the first thing we predicted that would be asked. It's going to be all over it. The media was. That's their job. That's fine. The thing that you could tell is that he's got a ton of energy. This is something I've met him twice, in 18 and 19 in training camp with the Colts. I was able to talk to him after each training camp practice that I was at. And you could clearly see he's got a ton of energy. So much so in this press conference, guys, I thought he stumbled. He seemed a little bit tight, a little bit nervous. He needs to calm down a little bit. He'll get that the more press conferences that he does. It's not like he hadn't done any the past 3 years, because the offensive coordinator for an NFL team must speak to the media. So I thought as it went along, though, he was more comfortable. He seemed a little bit, obviously, because at least half of the press conference dealt with the Wentz stuff. You could tell he either was prepped for it. He kind of knew it was coming. He had, I would think, somewhat rehearsed answers. And then, obviously, you had different follow-ups for it because people were out for blood. They wanted answers about who the quarterback's going to be. He did the best that he could to deflect it. I did find it was interesting that I find it hard to believe, but I have to believe the guy, that none of his coaches watch any tape on the Eagles. I find that hard to believe, but okay, they just got the job, so maybe they haven't.
Yeah, that was one of the things that stood out to me is you went to Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie during the interview and said, I don't know anything about your team. I haven't watched them. I don't know anything about them.
Well, look, Mike, I will say this about the Sirianni interview. It was not really, to begin the week, one that I thought they would be having. I thought they would have hired Brandon Staley or Arthur Smith. They didn't get to Brandon Staley. The Chargers interviewed him, so we'll never really know. And Arthur Smith, I know, knocked it out of the park, did a great job. The Eagles never offered him a deal. He went to the Falcons within 24 hours after his interview with the Eagles. And Nick Sirianni, I'm sure he was on their long list, which Jeffrey Lurie, I like that part of it. This is what I've heard about these interviews, Mike. You start with a list that's 25 to 30 people. It just, you brainstorm, okay, who do you like, who do you like, who do you like? Once you get through the vetting, you narrow it down to 10 or 15 out of the interview. And by the way, we interviewed former Eagles president Joe Banner on Inside the Birds television this week, and I got to tell you, he took us through. Joe brought us through some stuff which I'd never heard before, didn't know about in the interview process. So I hope you guys listen to it. You can find that on YouTube or on any podcasting platform.
Yeah, it was really kind of step-by-step what happens in a coaching interview. Really good on the Inside the Birds podcast. What about Sirianni was asked 5 different ways about Wentz. Staying, going, competition. He obviously, either one, didn't want to touch it, but I don't know that he was really prepped all that well for it.
Well, no, he knew it was coming, but because they kept asking the question a different way, Mike, as you said, what I would have liked him to have said, hey, if it's up to me, he's my quarterback. So,
well, that's not good either.
Well, listen. Here's
what do you mean if it's up to me? Oh,
he's got to come up with some kind of answer that says, "Listen, I want to be our quarterback, but listen, we're evaluating this thing. I just got here, and we're gonna." Well, he goes, "We'll say he's under contract. I expect him to be the starter. Just come up with something." I don't know if you're aware of this. Did you see what the Rams have said about Jared Goff? They couldn't make it more clear. They don't want the guy. It's very clear. Here, they're kind of leaving it up to he may or may not stay in Carson Wentz.
That's right. I mean, you're right. And the way, like, we both, like, he's in a tough spot. He's thrown to the wolves here with this quarterback situation. He can't lean one way or the other because then he's kind of throwing Hurts out of the mix. But he was asked if there was a competition, and he didn't really say there's going to be a competition, but he didn't really say whether Wentz was going to be here. It just seemed like that he wanted nothing to do with that question, even though he kind of knew it was coming, because he wouldn't say that whether it would be a quarterback competition. He just said, hey, we're looking over the whole roster, but that is going to be his defining moment, don't you think?
I was surprised he said that, because sometimes, Mike, my and I'll give the media credit for this. The more you ask the same question, every once in a while you might get something. Whoa, I didn't expect him to say that. He just gave us a nugget. You're right on that one. That I did notice that, and I was surprised that he said that. My read on this thing, the Wentz situation's fluid. Though we reported on Inside a couple weeks ago, just about every head coaching candidate was not only asked about Carson Wentz, how would you redevelop the player? How would you coach him? How would you handle the quarterback situation? They were asked this. So clearly it's in their mind to potentially bring him back. He's under contract. But you also have to look at it and say, they've never guaranteed that Wentz will be back. That's a fact. They've never guaranteed it. It's an ongoing situation.
Something that stood out to me, he was asked if he was going to call the plays, and he said he was, but he also said that there were some discussions about maybe just being the CEO of the team and maybe not. Is that interesting to you to hear him say that?
Yeah, what happens is in every head coaching interview, if your guy's called plays before, well, you're actually going to be asked it regardless. Who's going to call plays? What's the process? Sirianni, typically the what we call non-play calling offensive coordinators, typically help in red zone or on third down. They either are the ones who call it or say, hey, they design it. That's typically what they do, Hunter. So when you fast forward this to Sirianni, the word was coming into this that he was going to call the plays. That was never a surprise. But it's just the process. And Sirianni was Frank Reich's right-hand man. He's heavily involved in game planning. That's what a non-play calling OC should be doing. Now, for the first time in his career, he's going to call the plays. But his right-hand man, as we reported last Friday on Inside the Birds, is Kevin Patullo. We knew he was coming in to be his right-hand man. He'll be his passing game coordinator. Really integral to his staff to be on there. And those guys, by the way, they flew over together on the private plane on whenever he got in here, Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, Monday, I think, to arrive at Philly.
Adam Caplan from the Inside the Birds podcast. Of course, the new coach, Nick Sirianni, met the media today. He did have some very glowing remarks about, number one, his defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon. And also, a lot of people are very happy about Brian Johnson, the hire for the quarterback coach.
Yeah, and the thing is, you never really know who recommends these coaches. I know in 2016, Doug Peterson had a bunch of coaches recommended to him, guys who are currently on the staff then, like Jeff Stoutland and others, and he decided, you know what, I interviewed these guys, I liked them, I'm going to retain them. Here, as I understand it, Sirianni, his idea was most of the staff. I don't know that it was all of his idea, not that it really matters much. The bottom line is it's his decision who he hires. He can hire whoever he wants. Brian Johnson was a guy that was a tremendous hire. If you talk to people around the league, especially people in the coaching community, they speak very highly of the 33-year-old coach. It's going to come here and be the quarterback's coach. Johnson was at University of Florida. That's a primetime program. He was the OC/quarterbacks coach, and I guess the big story is that he recruited Jalen Hurts out of high school, which is a very interesting aside. I don't know if they're connected. No one has said it hasn't been, but the fact of the matter is, and all that matters is, he's a really, really good quarterback developer. He did a great job with Dak Prescott, among others.
Speaking of which, by the way, Press Taylor has just been hired by Frank Reich. So maybe Jeffrey Lurie will say, no, we want him back now.
Yeah, right. Look, Press Taylor, it wasn't working here. It was never going to work here. He got too close to Wentz. We outlined this now for 3 years, and good for him. Nice guy. And what's interesting there is, Mike, the Colts have no idea who their quarterback is. Philip Rivers is retiring. They have one quarterback under contract, and that's a fourth rounder.
That's interesting.
Jacob Easton. Yeah, so they need a quarterback, so that'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Well, and Adam, not to go down the road of all these teams need quarterbacks, but New Orleans, maybe Pittsburgh, most likely you're going to need one in Indianapolis, as you said, most likely going to need one in Detroit, possibly Houston. A lot of quarterbacks are going to be needed. Where does Wentz fall on that pecking order if the Eagles even think about moving him? Because there's so many options.
Right, and the cap situation, it's a cap burden on that. They already have a bad cap situation. This would make it worse. The way it was explained to me recently is look, they can make it work with help from Wentz, but it still be painful. It's just about how painful do they want it to be. There are so many quarterbacks. I've been doing this study for almost 3 weeks now. There are easily 16 teams, half the league, that has no idea who their starting quarterback is going to be. I don't know and by the way, the Eagles are within those 16. They don't know that Wentz is going to be the quarterback. They got to get through the situation. If he was, Mike, they would have said it. Teams don't let speculation happen. They let speculation take place for a reason. Nick Sirianni, the GM of the Texans, said he has no interest in trading Deshaun Watson. All he had to say is we're not trading him. That would have ended it, but he didn't do that because he's not sat down with Watson yet, and he has to see if the situation could be resolved to be able to make the guy happy. We'll see.
You mentioned Petula earlier as the right-hand man, and I wonder what can we expect from Shane Steichen as the offensive coordinator and what he brings to the table?
Yeah, Steichen did a great job with Justin Herbert, the Chargers' then rookie quarterback, their first-round pick, 6th overall. Did a really good job. And in a pandemic offseason, which meant no offseason, and a couple weeks of training camp, no preseason, did a great job. I know the Charger fans on message boards really criticized the offense the final 4 or 5 games, but part of it was because Keenan Allen got hurt. They had a bunch of injuries on their offensive line. They got a little bit conservative. Some people blame Anthony Lynn for that, who ironically now is calling plays for the Lions, so you can call it what it is. But he's very close to the new head coach Sirianni. He's gone through developing a quarterback. That's huge. If it's Jalen Hurts who he has to develop or another young quarterback, at least he's gone and done it. So that's important. And not every coach that Sirianni hired is someone from his background. The other thing is there's some positions that still need to be hired to be filled. Jason Michael is going to be their tight ends coach. We first said that on our show last Friday, that he's on his list. He got him, though I don't know that he was going to stay with the Colts or not because he took the same tight ends job with the Eagles that he had with the Colts. So it's a little bit interesting. But look, there are a bunch of guys also who know him very well, and they've got to prove themselves. And look, this is a relatively young staff. I'm interested to see if there are any veteran coaches who are hired in the near future.
Okay, so Adam Caplan's with us, and there were so many questions that I was looking for answers to, and I get it. There was only a limited amount of time, but a lot of these roster decisions, and the left tackle spot. You got a former first-round pick here. You got a 7th rounder that played last year. Is that a spot that you're looking at in the draft? So is left tackle between Dillard and Mailata? Are they thinking about that at number 6 if there's someone there?
Yeah, and that's for Roseman, right? That's not something he's going to be able to answer. That one I understand.
Right, yeah, and I'm saying for him, but I'm wondering if, he said I haven't looked at the roster or anything, but if he comes in thinking, hey, Dillard was a first-round pick, I got to take a look at this guy. We don't want to draft another left tackle.
Right, but I would have liked to have known, Mike, is he familiar with Jordan Mailata? Because Mailata's an unbelievable story of development. I know that in his interview, I'd heard that in his interview with the Eagles, he did talk about player development, which is, by the way, very important. It's not talked about enough. But I could tell you that the one of the things that bothered me about this press conference is how in the world did they not ask about, okay, Deuce Staley's gone. Who's your running backs coach? What's the status of Aaron Moorhead? What's the status of you don't have a special teams coach? Who's your linebacker coach? What are you going to do with Matt Burke? What are you going to do with Marquand Manuel, the DB's coach? Moshe reported on Friday that Tim Houck won't be retained, their safeties coach. So how in the world do you not ask these questions? It's just beyond me. That would be my one strong criticism. Because, by the way, they asked the right question on Wentz, and I have no problem with the follow-ups. After that, shut it down, start asking about the coaches. That was a real faux pas by the media here.
Yeah, and also the fact that, we're in a situation where he essentially – look, I don't have a problem with his delivery or any of these things. I'm not judging him on that, but he had a really good chance to kind of get people excited. And I think people go into this all season with so much uncertainty.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. No, listen, the quarterback thing is obviously number one, and everything else is 2, 3, 4, and 5. But it's number one there. He talked a little bit about how players might be used, but not a lot. He did a really good interview with Dave Spadaro from PhiladelphiaEagles.com. If you haven't seen it, he did talk a little bit about it there with Dave. But you're right. There are a ton of questions to be answered. And the next time they're going to get him would be at the owners' meetings, but we don't know if there's going to be an owners' meetings like we normally would have it, where we get to sit down with the head coaches of all 32 teams.
Yeah.
I remember asking Chip Kelly. I'll never forget it. I'm sitting right next to him at his first owners' meetings in 13. Said, was it your dream to be an NFL head coach? He looked deadpans to me. He goes, absolutely not. And I was like taken aback. I was so shocked at his answer. I was stunned. I didn't even have a follow-up. I couldn't believe he said that.
Wow. How did you process when he mentioned Howie Roseman having his fingerprints on the 53-man roster, and then he said, I believe I have say on the 47-man, as if that was never discussed?
Yeah, well, no, of course it was discussed. Almost every head coach controls the game day roster. It's rare in today's NFL that they don't. But typically, general managers like Roseman, who have full personnel control free agency, the draft, the 53-man roster, and that's pretty much it. And and then the game day roster is usually the head coaches. And what happens is on Saturday night, if they have a Sunday game, they meet with the general manager and the personnel director, and they go over who are going to be the inactives the next day and what the game plan is in terms of personnel. And that's it. Yeah, that's what I expect him to say. I'm glad he actually addressed it instead of. I wasn't sure because I don't know this guy really. I was surprised he actually confirmed that. That was good that he did that. Good question, by the way. It was good.
And by the way, coming up next week, a guy who played for Nick Sirianni, Anthony Beck, will be on the show. He was with him in Kansas City. So Anthony texted me today. He said, yeah, I know Nick. I played for him. He's going to join us next week on the show to give us some more insight what it's like playing for him. So we'll get a player's perspective. Adam Caplan. By the way, on that interview with Spadaro, he mentioned Ertz and the potential of having Ertz, which I thought was kind of interesting to say.
I would be very, as I said on Inside the Birds, this today, when we're talking about the roster, we were talking about 12 versus 11. There's some bad information out there, so I had to kind of shoot it down on what happens. Is a bunch of the local media watched that 5-minute video clip that Sirianni did for the Colts website. One guy tried to act like he was reporting that he heard they were going to run 12 personnel, and I was told pretty strongly by someone who coached with Sirianni with the Colts that that's not correct. So I got the information. I put it on our show. I didn't want to take a shot at the reporter. I wouldn't name him. But it's just you can't go by what you see in a video, man. That's just not good reporting. I thought that was comical. Anyway.
All right, Adam Caplan, the Inside the Birds podcast. Check out their thoughts on Nick Sirianni. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Drop 6 a.m. all off season long. The best Eagles insight on the podcast and right here during Football at 4. He's Adam Caplan. This is Football at 4 on 97.3 ESPN. All right, Adam, have a great weekend, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, he, like August, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. And, of course, Adam will be back on Friday. Jeff Mosher will be here on Monday, and we will get ready for the Super Bowl. We're putting together a good Super Bowl week. Now, normally we'd be down there in Tampa. Due to the unfortunate COVID-19 pandemic, we're going to be doing it from right here. However, we're working on a good show for next week, putting some pieces together. And Anthony Beck, the former Buccaneers tight end, he also played for Nick Sirianni when Sirianni was in Kansas City. He will be on the show, I believe, Thursday next week. Also, going to be working on a couple other things. You heard Sal Paolantonio will be on Tuesday's show. Mosher will be here on Monday. We'll look at the game. We'll look at the NFL. All these quarterbacks, man. I think that is something we should really get into in the next segment here. All these quarterbacks. Is there enough chairs at the table? You know what I mean? You seem like you have no comment on that.
No, I do.
Or were you just like...
No, when you said that, I started processing all the names that... Because when we had Sal
If you're watching on the video, do you agree that he just was like, I don't care what you're saying?
No. I was in order listing the quarterbacks that Sal Pal mentioned, and I wrote it down. I said, down. It's because I was heavily thinking about the quarterbacks.
We'll get into that coming up. I think that is an amazing conversation. Yeah, apparently you didn't agree.
No, I swear. I wish we could go back to the tape so I could see what my face looked like, because I was zoned out because I was thinking about the quarterbacks.
All right, when we come back, we will get into the quarterbacks because we got to really break down how many are there legitimately that could be in a new spot next year. Plus, your comments on the video stream have been pouring in all day. We will start to flash some of those up on the screen and react to them. You can hit us up on the text board, 609-403-0973. This is the Sports Bash. You can watch the show live. Go to our website, 973ESPN.com. And, of course, on the free mobile app, you can stream us live on your television. Use your Comcast voice remote and say, watch the Sports Bash.
Hey, everyone, it's Billy Schwein for The Locker Room. We have a lot to cover this weekend. The Eagles introduced their new head coach. The Phillies signed JT Realmuto, and the Flyers and Sixers win. Saturday, we'll talk with former Paulsboro Red Raider, Temple Allen, Kansas City Chief Kevin Ross. Kevin is headed to Super Bowl 55 as a coach with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Sunday, my guest is Mark Eckel, who covered the Eagles for 32 years with the Trenton Times. Mark will give us his perspective on the Birds' new coaches. All the action starts every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
Start the new year in a new Kia at Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River or Egg Harbor Township today. The new year is an opportunity to set new goals and start fresh. And at Matt Blatt Kia, our goal is to get you out of that old car you hate. Come in today or visit us online and get the credit you deserve this new year. 0% APR financing available for up to 75 months on new 2021 Kia Sportage LX SUVs in stock. Plus, Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River and Egg Harbor Township wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Plus, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers with approved Tier 1 or 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. 0% based on 1516 per 1,000 borrowed. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 2/4/2021. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Dorothy Roofing. Call 1-877-97-KEVIN.
Hi, I'm Kevin Daly, the owner of Dorothy Gale Roofing. Do you have a leak? Do you need a new roof? Give us a call today for honest, wholehearted advice at 1-877-97-KEVIN.
Wizard quality comes with DorothyRoofing.com.
Beachcombing, baking cookies, learning French. Aren't these what you'd rather be doing than thinking about your Medicare prescriptions? Well, Walgreens is here to help you get back to it with convenient refill and pickup options, expert pharmacists to answer all your questions, and Medicare copays as low as $0. Zero. Which is also the number of cares in the world you'll have as you stroll the beach, eating cookies and speaking French. Oh la la. Walgreens.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans where Walgreens is a preferred pharmacy.
Help Heal Veterans helps veterans with PTSD and stress from military service and isolation during the coronavirus. For the next minute, let's take a minute to relieve stress together. We'll do the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. First, sit with your back straight. Second, place your tongue against the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth. Now, exhale through your mouth and around your tongue. If this seems awkward, shape your lips like you're whistling. Close your mouth and inhale through your nose for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for the count of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale completely through your mouth. Make a whoosh sound and count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do this cycle 3 more times. Learn more at healvets.org. This message is furnished by Help Heal Veterans.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change to do. We can get you everything you need. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP oil filter for just $26.99, plus a $5 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? We can sign you up fast right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
There's only one original stuffed crust, and it's only from Pizza Hut. The only place that gives you up to 3 toppings on your original stuffed crust for just $11.99. Order yours online at pizzahut.com. Ask or click for limited time offer. Extra charge for more toppings and extra cheese. Exclusions apply.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill and Brodes on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And now you can watch the show live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 97.3ESPN.com.
All right, Mike and Brodes with you on a Friday. It's a Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN. So let's get into this because everybody is wondering about Wentz and if they can actually trade him. They were asked today. I don't know where a seat at the table is for Wentz. I don't know another team, unless you want to get ripped off. I mean, I don't know. People might out there say, you're not getting ripped off if you get rid of the guy. I don't think the Eagles just want to give him away. And I don't think the return on your investment is going to equal keeping him.
Well, what do you value more, getting rid of this drama or the compensation in return? Because I don't think you got to imagine that the compensation in return at this point, it's not going to be much. I mean, it's not going to be game changing. It's more about the drama involved with Carson Wentz in the city that you need to move on from. That's at least how I see it. That might not be how they see it.
Right. Do the Eagles just want to wash their hands of this and get rid of Wentz? I don't think so.
That's probably not how they see it, but I feel it might lean that way just based off of how ugly it has gotten here. But you're right. If you put yourself in Jeffrey Lurie's shoes, he's probably not seeing it that way.
Well, let's go through. I mean, literally, you're looking at almost half the league, Brodes, that is needing or will have a quarterback change, right? When you look at this league, all right, I'm going to go literally right down the list, alphabetical. Arizona is not changing quarterbacks, so take them off. Atlanta, I wouldn't be surprised if they said, we're done with Matt Ryan, and they try to make calls. Now, we haven't heard anything there. They got a new coach, though. Does a new coach want to say, hey, I want Matt Ryan?
They might look for a quarterback, but I'd probably put them in the category of they're not going out there and reaching for one.
All right, so you'd say 2 teams, both keeping their quarterback. Baltimore's keeping their quarterback. Buffalo's keeping their quarterback. Carolina's keeping theirs. Chicago, I would imagine they need a quarterback.
Are we 100% sold on Teddy Bridgewater in Carolina, or
they just signed him to a pretty nice deal?
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying. I didn't know if they were like fully in 100% on him or not. So
they might not be, but that contract would say they are.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I mean, unless you want to start playing fantasy football and guys who just signed contracts and 1 year later you're like, I don't like him. No, there's somebody that we know that plays in Carolina. They like him down there. Like takes over the room, leader. All of that stuff. So
yeah, for sure. Look,
he got a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were like, hey, this is 100% our guy, or if that was more of like a stopgap. Let's utilize Teddy Bridgewater until we figure out like really what we want to do at the quarterback position.
I mean, the contract he signed tells me that he's staying there.
That's fine. I would imagine so.
Like if you are the Carolina Panthers, I'm trying to remember the contract.
Yeah,
I know he got
it up right here.
Pretty astronomical deal. Yeah. Oh, actually, wait a second. This has got to be old because this says he signed a 1 year, $7 million contract. Yeah, he obviously got more than that.
No, it was 3 years, $62 million. It looks like.
Yeah, so he got not a 5-year long-term one, but he's
so it's
there.
A little bit of a short stopgap kind of concept, but they're clearly committed to him for a couple seasons. So okay, they're not looking for one.
Yeah, Carolina, Chicago would be one. Chicago will have a new quarterback next year.
Did Mitch Trubisky save his job?
No.
No.
They will have a definitive new quarterback in Chicago next year. How are they going to get that? Well, it's going to have to be through a trade, I would imagine, or I don't know who are the free agent quarterbacks. That I don't know the answer to either. But there are so many available. All right, so Chicago's going to need a new quarterback. So that's one on the list is Chicago. Cincinnati doesn't. Cleveland does not. Dallas is iffy. I mean, we all think Dak's going back there. But if he doesn't, they're in the mix.
Yeah, let's put them down as not needing a quarterback, though.
Denver definitely needs a quarterback. Although they might not. I mean, they have Locke there.
I know. I don't know. I don't have a pulse on that because I could see it going both ways.
Well, I would imagine if they can get up to 6, they would be in play. Where are they in the draft, actually? That's another good question. If they are in the mix behind you, we're looking at teams that could now be in the mix to say, we need a quarterback. Do we want to get up over top of you in the draft order? Right?
Because if they're close to a reasonable spot to move up, maybe some of these
they got to
teams
be near
we
you.
are questioning. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know that they're obviously in that range.
I don't think they're in the top 5, but I would imagine that they are in the top 10. They did not have a very good season this year. So let's see. Denver is 9. So Denver would probably be a team that would probably be interested in trading up with you.
So the Eagles are going to trade down from 6 to 9? Isn't that what got that last week was the one that got there from 9 to 6?
Yep, that would be irony. Free agent quarterbacks, by the way. Dak Prescott, Jacoby Brissett, Cam Newton, Mitch Trubisky, Tyrod Taylor, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton, Joe Flacco, Nate Sudfeld.
All right, so there's a couple of names that I wonder if people would take a chance on. Cam Newton.
I don't think the market's going to be very hot for Cam.
I agree with you. I just wonder.
In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if Cam Newton is not even in the league next year.
Really? I think he'd be a backup quarterback at the worst.
Look how long it took him to get a job this year. He didn't do anything this year that screams, I got to go get that guy.
No, but he's a good security blanket on the bench. If he's willing to be a backup.
If he's willing.
Yeah, if he's willing to be a backup. Do you think Joe Flacco?
No.
No, a backup, I'm saying.
Every guy on this list, well, Fitzpatrick's interesting because
he's your stopgap guy.
He's the guy that if you're not happy with your starter or you have your young starter. Like if I'm Cincinnati, if I'm Dallas, and I had all the quarterback problems this year, I see if I can get Ryan Fitzpatrick.
All right, there's 2 names that also stand out to me on this list. Does anyone take a shot on Winston?
Yes.
As a starter?
It depends on how many seats are left.
Okay.
Like we go through this list, I'll have a better.
And then Josh Rosen at 24. It's like, is that someone that people ever would even think like I want to get my hands on this guy again?
Oh, just to get him in your building. But I think that window of he was a first round pick and he could play is closed.
Yeah. Other than that,
you get about 3 years, and after that, people start talking. He stinks. His footwork's terrible. I don't know. You know what I mean?
How about Tyrod Taylor? Like this poor guy gets his ribs broken right when he was getting
punctured lung,
and now it's like. I mean, not that he was like a winning player, but serviceable guy.
He's your guy that if you have Joe Burrow, if you have a young quarterback, what's it called? Well, he's in L.A. right now. That's the kind of team he belongs on, where you have a young quarterback, and if they struggle, a team that drafts a guy. This is going to be interesting. So let's finish this list real quick. So Chicago, yes, they're going to need a quarterback. Trubisky ain't coming back. Denver, I would say, is in play. Detroit, they're going to trade Stafford, so they need a quarterback. Now, the question is, do they just trade Stafford straight up for another quarterback? Or do they have to make a second trade to get a quarterback?
I think if you trade Stafford.
Or do they draft a quarterback?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think if you trade Stafford, realistically, with this whole new regime, a whole new look, it would probably be draft picks.
They have the 7th pick. I would imagine that the Eagles are probably sitting there saying, hey there. Hey, number 7. You want to switch places with us? Because there's a quarterback that's going to be on the list right here. And don't make, we took Jalen Hurts last year. Don't think we won't do something crazy here.
They can absolutely get a quarterback in that range. And that would be interesting if the Eagles kind of play that mind game with them. I think Stafford, how you play this if you're the Lions, you get compensation in return with picks, and then you kind of rebuild with a young guy. I think that's the best way to do it.
Keep in mind, Denver looms at 9. So Detroit says, is Denver on the phone with Philly? And if they are, we got to get there first. Right?
I think it's very reasonable. I don't think it should be
This
ruled
is
out.
why Philly getting 6 is so big as opposed to getting 9. Because now, if they're going to go with Wentz and if they're going to go with Hurts, one of those two, and they're not going to draft a quarterback, the teams behind them that say that's a spot, and I'm talking about this is where teams like San Francisco at 12 comes into play. Is San Francisco done with Jimmy G? And if they are, do they say, Philly's got 6, we're at 12, we can move up 6 spots? If you are the New England Patriots, you're at 15. Do you say, it's time for us to do it, man. We got to pull the trigger. We got to find our next Brady. We got to go up to number 6. If you are the Washington football team, Chicago Bears, Indianapolis Colts, now you start to get the teams that are in the 20s. Can you get from 20 all the way up to 6? No way.
No, you got to put a lot together to do that.
Right, and that's where the Eagles might be in a spot to be able to be like, hey, we need a boatload of picks, and we want you to take some of these contracts from us.
That's something similar to what you kind of had to do to get up to Carson Wentz. So you're talking about a significant package if you're trying to make that jump.
Yeah, I think so you're looking at 3 quarterbacks going in the top 10. Almost definitively, well, Lawrence is going to go to be number 1. Almost definitively, though, you're going to get Wilson from BYU, and then you're going to get the kid Fields, obviously, from Ohio State, and the kid from North Dakota could be in the mix, too, from Wentz's school. What's his name? Lance.
Lance, yes.
So you could get 3 guys in the top 10, and you could possibly get 4 or maybe even 5 quarterbacks in the first round.
I saw this hypothetical going around Twitter by some of the NFL insiders. If you're the Jags, knowing that Houston and the Deshaun Watson thing is a little crazy, would you trade that first pick, which is Trevor Lawrence, to get yourself Deshaun Watson? If you're the Jags, would you trade that 1 pick and get...
What else are they giving me?
Well,
I got Watson.
Yeah, 101, essentially.
Because here's the problem. Houston has no first-round picks. So they're in a crappy situation to make they have no first-round pick, so you got to get that back in return. If you're trading Deshaun Watson, you would almost need multiple first-round picks to make up for the fact they gave up 2 first-round picks to get Laramie Tunsil.
No, I agree with you completely.
That's got to be one of the worst trades. Not that he's bad, but you trade 2 first-round picks to get a left tackle. I'm not blasting the guy. You do that if you're close to a Super Bowl, which they thought they were. You ended up being horrible.
Yeah, people keep forgetting that even though Bill O'Brien was a nightmare, they were constantly winning that division. They just couldn't get over the hump once they made the playoffs.
So, all right, Detroit needs a quarterback. Green Bay, we think Rodgers is going to stay there. Houston, most likely, is going to be needing a quarterback. So if you trade Watson, you need someone to replace him. So they're in play. Indianapolis, do they go back to Jacoby Brissett? Or do they look for a quarterback? Does Andrew Luck dust them off and come back and play?
I'm going to go with no.
Well, that's not a joke. I mean, there's some rumbles that he...
Oh, is there? I haven't seen anything on it, but I would be surprised.
He's 31 years old. One of the reasons he left Indianapolis is because Grigson was a disaster, and he was getting his ass beat back there. They got one of the best offensive lines in football now.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. It did seem like when he was up there in the podium that maybe he lost that urge for the game, but I can't rule anything out.
Jacksonville's going to draft one. Kansas City doesn't need one. Vegas, I would say they're 75-25. They're going to keep Carr.
Yeah, he's probably someone that you stick with even though there's a lot of question marks involved.
L.A. Rams, looks like they want a new quarterback.
How about that?
Chargers are good. Not Miami. Miami could get a more veteran-stabled quarterback. I didn't like Tua, and I don't know that they love Tua. I don't know that tanking for Tua was...
Is it too early to give up on him already, though?
It's too early to make a decision on him, but I think if you're Miami, you're like, dude, we're kind of close. And if we get a quarterback here, like this guy might be... I mean, he reminds me of a better version of Tebow.
But what would you get in return for Tua? Or does it not even matter?
He's a better passer than Tebow.
Yeah, he's
But I'm
better,
just saying, like, he's a make something happen kind of guy, not a great quarterback.
I agree with you. I understand your assessment there. I think it's fair. I just...
Small.
What would you get back in return? Does it just like with the Eagles, does it matter about compensation, or is it just about finding that quarterback to make sure you stabilize that position?
This is why I bring it up. How many teams need quarterbacks? And they're like, hey, look, this is what we got. I don't want to go crazy on getting quarterback, but I'll take a shot on Tua. Because my point I'm making is kind of there's so many levels of quarterbacks now. You can go high end, You can go middle of the road. You can kind of go bottom of the, but they're all kind of good. But it's how much you want to give up to get them. Like, if I want Deshaun Watson, I'm going shopping at the highest profile place. But I can go get Jared Goff and be kind of in the middle ground. I can go down here and get Tua. I don't have to go all the way up to the top.
If they get Matthew Stafford, does that make the Miami Dolphins like I'm beating the Bills for the division
They're
type
in
team?
play. Yeah.
See, Stafford's the road that I like because it's not the Deshaun Watson where you're going to have to give up an insane amount. But, yeah, you're still going to have to give up a decent portion, and it might not be as great as Deshaun Watson. But I think Matthew Stafford has been stuck in such a bad place with an organization that he's damn solid. And I think if he's in a right situation, you can make
Well, some would say,
make it
how
happen.
come that he hasn't been able to elevate that team?
I mean, sometimes when it's that bad internally, there's only so much you can do.
Miami, Minnesota's got Cousins. New England needs a quarterback. New Orleans probably going to need a quarterback.
I think it's definite that they need a quarterback.
Well, Breeze hasn't officially retired, but if he does,
I don't even think look, you saw their record and what they did, but Drew Brees coming back again. One of the biggest reasons why they lost is because he couldn't throw the football. So you're so limited.
I would go on 85%. They need a new quarterback.
Yeah.
Giants, probably not. Jets, unlikely, but they are a big-time player for a trade. At number 2, I would say if I'm the Jets, hey, we don't want a quarterback. You want a quarterback, call us.
I'm thinking more if Sam Darnold's no longer. I see them as if they are making a change at the quarterback position, like they're not trading Sam Darnold for anything other than a quarterback in return that still changes their franchise. You know what I mean? It's not just going to be like compensation because there's been reports about maybe Sam Darnold going to Houston and then you get Deshaun Watson back in return. Like if they're changing quarterbacks, they're not. I don't think it's because of something in the draft. It's because they're trading Darnold and getting one of these other guys we're talking about in return.
Pittsburgh, I would probably say they're going to have a new quarterback next year.
You think so?
Well, the owner came out and said we can't pay Big Ben.
You think they figure something out? Is there anything to figure out?
I don't know. He's 39 years old. He might just say, you know what? The hell with it. I'm 39. I don't feel like doing this anymore. You're not going to pay me what I want or what I signed for?
I don't know if I get that vibe out of Big Ben, though. It seems like he's still hungry for more. I could be wrong, but
Big Ben playing for someone else?
No, I don't think so.
So I would say it's 60-40 Pittsburgh has a new quarterback.
That one's close.
San Fran, I would think, has a new quarterback next year. Seattle does not. Tampa Bay, unlikely. I think Brady comes back. Tennessee, no. Washington, probably yes. So that's a lot of teams we just ripped through. Washington, San Fran, Pittsburgh, New England, the Rams, Houston, Indianapolis, Detroit, Denver, Chicago. That's 10 right there that are almost definitively going to need another quarterback. And then, yes, yesterday was reported that Ben Roethlisberger wants to return and would consider restructuring this deal. Okay, so that's a twist.
Yeah, I thought that there was something I saw about Big Ben being willing to do some things and make some changes there. So I'd probably lean towards him giving it one more go.
Maybe. They might not want to bring him back. They might be ready to move on. Who knows? All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And don't forget, you can watch the show on our website, 97.3ESPN.com. So after all that, going through all the teams, all the quarterbacks, all the possibilities, do the Eagles even think about moving Carson Wentz with all of the traffic out there? I mean, this is like you're in a traffic jam and you need to get off at the exit, but you're just like, I'm stuck here. There's so many cars in front of me. I'm just going to.
Can it be a good thing, though, that there's so much traffic, more calls you can make, more people interested in moving their quarterbacks? It can help out. It might benefit.
Well, a lot of times when there's not a lot of options and you're the only one or two options, you get more calls. But if there's so many options, it's like, how do I stand out from the crowd? Does Wentz stand out from the crowd that includes Stafford, Watson?
Well, I'm thinking instead of a team, I'm thinking maybe flip-flopping with one of these teams trying to get rid of their quarterback. Like if someone wants Wentz and you can get Stafford in return with a little bit of a package, would it make it easier to move on from Wentz and just slide in another quarterback with someone else who's available?
Sports Best brought to you by Matt Blatt Nissan. The all-new Matt Blatt Nissan now open on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township next to Home Depot. Online, mattblattnissan.com. We got a lot to continue on this conversation here on the Sports Bash.
Turn it on. Leave it on.
The Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Stop the countdown. It's not a new year we're celebrating. It's an all-new Matt Platt Nissan. Yes, you heard right. Matt Platt Nissan is now open on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, next to Home Depot, and online at mattplattnissan.com. Help us celebrate when you get out of that old car, truck, or SUV and into a brand new Nissan with the Matt Platt Nissan Fast Track Checkout. Available online at mattplattnissan.com. Our non-touch delivery and electronic paperwork ensures your safety comes first. Plus, Matt Platt Nissan wants your trade. Bring it in today and help us celebrate the all-new Matt Platt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, or visit us online. We want to help with your credit approval. And don't forget, with Matt Platt, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Celebrate the all-new Matt Platt Nissan online at mattplattnissan.com. Credit may affect terms. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle. Get all the details at mattplattnissan.com. Let's get it on at Matt Platt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Platt Nissan.
Interest rates are at an all-time low, making this the perfect time to buy a home or save money by refinancing your mortgage. South Jersey Federal Credit Union offers great rates, local decisions, and now through March 31st, a credit of up to $1,000 towards closing costs on qualifying mortgages. Visit southjerseyfcu.com, call 1-800-582-7640, or visit a branch for information. Must apply by March 31st, 2021. Subject to qualifications and approval. Owner-occupied residences only. Other restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
Buying some pretzel sticks?
Excuse me?
This is your wake-up call from Tracfone Wireless.
Okay.
What if you didn't eat all those pretzel sticks by the end of the month, so this store took them back?
Good luck.
That's how some wireless companies are with your data, but Tracfone Wireless gives you unlimited carryover data with active service, so you keep what you pay for. Plans start at $20 a month.
Wow, that's cool.
Sir, are you bothering the customers?
Yeah, hang on. This is your wake-up call, people. Tracfone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. See terms and conditions at tracfone.com.
Let's face it, football fans, 2020 was kind of like... But Unibet Sportsbook is betting 2021 is going to be a bit more like... And it starts with the big game. Sign up for $20 free today, $21 on game day, and two $250 risk-free bets. Let's do 2021 better. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in New Jersey. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Pros bring something extra to every job. Now at the Home Depot, they also get something extra. Pro Extra, our free loyalty program built for pros just like you. Members earn perks with every dollar spent, like Pro Extra Dollars, a tool rental credit, and more. New members get $20 off their next in-store purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Learn more at homedepot.com/Pro Extra. New year, more rewards, Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Do you crave the thrill of success and all the opportunities that come with it? Are you an ambitious professional who seeks an exciting career opportunity with unlimited earning potential? Are your achievements most rewarding when they also benefit others?
If so, then you may have what it takes to join South Jersey's leading radio and online marketing sales team at Town Square Media. Discover your passion for advertising sales and earn a guaranteed salary while you learn. Leverage newfound skills in integrated marketing campaign design and help local businesses recover and grow in the coming year.
With commission gains and hands-on training, your income grows right alongside your skill set, so you'll never be making less than what you're worth.
Call Michael Rubel, Market President, at 609-910-5249 to schedule an interview. Kick off a challenging but fulfilling career in advertising sales with Town Square Media, Atlantic City. Positions are competitive and won't be available long. Call 609-910-5249. Town Square Media is an equal opportunity employer.
There's only one original stuffed crust, and it's only from Pizza Hut. The only place that gives you up to 3 toppings on your original stuffed crust for just $11.99. Order yours online at pizzahut.com. Ask or click for limited time offer. Extra charge for more toppings and extra cheese. Exclusions apply.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, now to the top of the hour. It's the Sports Bash. I'm Mike Gill. At Mike Gill Show. He's at Brodes81. Follow him on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. And watch the show live. Go to our website, 973ESPN.com. We got a lot of quarterback conversation, and I think this is going to dominate the offseason here. This quarterback thing. All right, so Watson, Stafford, those two guys are definitively The Texans are telling you otherwise, but you would say both of those guys are definitively on the trade block, right?
Yes.
They're both more desirable than Wentz.
Yes.
So Wentz is minimally, if you're trying to make a trade, off the top of my head, third.
Well, here's the problem. It depends on what you're looking for. If you think you can fix Carson Wentz, then yes, he's the third. But if you don't want to take that risk and you'd rather be satisfied with more of like a Jared Goff, who, yes, you have concerns and the contract and all, but you kind of know what you're getting in Goff. I don't think you know what you're getting in Wentz, and that's where it's scary if you're making a trade for Wentz. You know what I mean? Like, even though Goff has holes in his game, you kind of know what you're getting out of Jared Goff. With Wentz, it's sort of like a wild card. You could get MVP Wentz, but you could get the worst drop-off in the history of NFL quarterbacks at the same time. So I guess it really depends on how you view this from an opposing team standpoint.
Yeah, and look, if you're the Patriots, are you trying to hit the home run and get Watson? Are you trying to bring in a veteran guy like Stafford? Or do you say, hey, we can get Wentz, kind of undervalue, and bring him here?
Well, that's another way to look at it. If you truly firmly believe you can get the best out of Wentz, which all of these coaches will feel that way, the compensation won't be as high. And you can make the argument that the MVP Wentz was better than Stafford was, right? So, like, you can possibly pay significantly less than what it would take to get Stafford and get a better player if you can turn Wentz around.
Frank wants to know, can we trade Wentz, the number 6 pick, and Andre Dillard if needed for Watson? I don't think that gets it done.
No, I don't think that gets it done.
I mean, I think Wentz is...
Yeah, what's his value?
Value is very low right now.
Very low. Like, third-round pick. A third-round pick for Wentz.
I think the Eagles probably said, we think we should get more than that to let him go.
Okay, and I think... But they put themselves in that position. I feel like they would say that. That would be their response. No way. No way are we taking the third. But once again, are you trying to wash your hands clean, or are you trying to rob someone in this deal? Because you're not going to rob anyone in this Carson Wentz deal. You have to admit that if you trade Carson Wentz, there's nothing that's going to be satisfying enough for you to justify the trade when you just look at the trade standpoint. Add in washing the hands, and then maybe you can justify the trade.
Yeah, this guy wants to know, does Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay? That we don't know, but we think.
I thought it was all very reactionary to his emotions after the game. Let's be realistic. Aaron Rodgers is going to be in Green Bay.
Yavar, watching on YouTube, says they won't trade Carson. They got a coach who's, yes, sir, coach.
Does that mean it fixes Carson?
Who is a yes, sir coach?
Right. As if you got to go fix Carson.
He's assuming that the organization doesn't want to trade Wentz. I'm under the opinion that if the organization got a deal that knocked their socks off, they would.
But I don't think they're going to get anything close to that.
I don't think they're going to get the deal that will knock their socks off.
Yeah, not even close.
That's the difference. But, like, if you're the Dolphins, you've got Tua. Are you looking to upgrade that, or are you sticking with Tua?
You're probably looking to upgrade that, but I'll be honest with you. I don't think they would view Carson Wentz as like that significant upgrade.
Like, does Houston call Miami and say, look, this guy wants out. We'll take Tua. You get Watson. Give us our pick back that we gave you for Tunsil.
Oh, geez.
It's like draft day. I want my pick back.
I don't think that would be a good enough return if I'm Houston. You got Deshaun Watson available. You're getting Tua in the first. It's a little demoralizing. No, I would want more.
Of course, but you're kind of up against it right now. Now they're saying we're not trading him. We're not trading him. I mean, the head coach David Culley down there was adamant today that he was told when he got that job that it was with Deshaun Watson as the quarterback there. We'll see. All right, it is a happy hour Friday. The PT will join us. PT will tell us about the life of John Chaney, who passed away today.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action.
What a save by Carter Hart.
The Flyers host the New York Islanders. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN and listen live on the free mobile app.
For DIY projects, you know the Home Depot is always in your corner. Now with our mobile app, it can also be in the palm of your hand. With digital tools like image search, snap a picture of something. It'll recognize it and serve up product suggestions in seconds. And our product locator will check availability and lead you right to it. The Home Depot mobile app. Download it today to get started. Only From the Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole-in-one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
On some models, excludes Corvette with GMF financing, excludes prior sales. See dealer for details.
Start the new year in a new Chevy at Bennett Chevy. Come see all the hot new 2021s and get our famous unbeatable Bennett deal. GM supplier employee pricing, plus you keep all the rebates. And right now, that could be up to 25% off MSRP. Yes, up to 25% off. Shop all you want, but there's just no beating Bennett. Looking for pre-owned? Bennett will pay you a minimum $7,000 for your trade towards any pre-owned in stock. That's at least $7,000, regardless of how or even if your old car runs. Imagine how much you'll get for a good trade. And you will absolutely love dealing with Bennett. There's no games, no gimmicks, just real deals and no need to negotiate because our non-commissioned sales team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Find new roads and start the new year in a new Chevy at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Any credit card can offer cash back, but only Discover matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. It's like getting one of those birthday cards that's shaped like cash, so you already know there's cash inside before opening it. But in this case, it's stuffed with your first year cash back match, and you don't even have to send a thank you note. Cashback match. Only by Discover Card. Learn more at discover.com/match. Discover. Something brighter.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing. We can help you replace those wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably time. We've got a wide selection of wipers that can stand up to any weather, including the right ones for your make and model. We've even got more ways to get them fast, like our next day delivery or free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
A message from your neighbors and friends at First Bank. We've been serving residents and businesses of Sea Isle City and the surrounding communities for more than 130 years. Today's challenges, while unique, are another opportunity to show our strength and resilience. Our commitment to you remains strong. Whether it's using our drive-through services, bank by phone, the First Bank mobile app, or online banking, we're staying strong with you. Be safe and be secure. First Bank, here for you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
O'Reilly.
This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross-country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street, and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah. That's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
No, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
The radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey.
With in front, deflected, they score!
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, 97.3 ESPN. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
All right, it is a happy hour Friday, and of course, we started all off on the 5 o'clock hour drive home with the PT. It's a happy hour Friday with the PT here on the Sports Bash. It's brought to you by Matt Black Kia. They want to get you approved today. Matt Black Kia, Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township. All right, let's talk to Pete Thompson. So much going on all over the place. Eagles press conference. Also, Flyers, Sixers, weekend. Let's get into it all right now with the PT right here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. It is a happy hour Friday, Peter.
Hello, Michael. How are you, buddy? Happy Friday to you.
Yes, happy Friday to you as well. And I know that you might have been tied up today when Nick Sirianni was speaking, but wondering if you had the opportunity to go back and listen to the comments of the brand new Philadelphia Eagles head coach, who, by the way, had 9 days to get ready for this thing.
Absolute fail on my part to put it in my phone, and my last class goes to lunch at noon, like 11:57. So had it in my phone, ready to go, going to dial that press conference up and watch it live while the kids are at lunch. Yeah, to do that effectively, you actually have to set an alarm, too, to go off and remind you. 12 o'clock came, 12 o'clock went, get in the car on the way home from school, and I'm hearing you with Adam Caplan. I'm like, oh, my God, I totally forgot. So, yes, my impressions of what he said are all based off of what you guys told me that he said. But, hey, I'm glad that Jeffrey Lurie let him talk a little bit, too. My God, what the hell was that? 16 minutes of Lurie to start? Who do you think you are, the reincarnation of Al Davis?
Yeah, it was a lot of that Billy Madison scene. At no point in your rambling,
incoherent answer.
Yeah, he got no points, and may God have mercy on his soul. But
oh my gosh,
a lot of attempts to try to get Sirianni to announce who his quarterback would be or how he viewed the situation, and he just would not buckle. I mean, it's not like he gave a great answer, but he gave almost no answer, and he was asked 6 ways to Sunday.
Right. So obviously, what my minor at Temple, my major was journalism, my minor was PR, right? So obviously the Eagles PR staff prepped him that, listen, they're going to ask you and they're going to ask you again, and almost like a lawyer preps a client, right? They're prepping him for these are some of the questions you could expect. And obviously he knew that Carson question was coming. You almost feel, and again, this is my interpretation from what I've been hearing of what he said today and what I've been hearing you guys say, is that he was so fired up, like, I am not going to give 1 inch to these writers. I'm not going to reveal anything. I'm not going to tip my hand, but say something, dude. I mean, like, give some sort of answer, give some inclination. He didn't give anything.
He did not. We didn't expect him to say, hey, Carson Wentz is going to be my starter. I don't know that there was a perfect way to answer it, but he certainly didn't appease people with the answer. Now, the other thing that I thought that kind of was talked about a lot is that, hey, he seems very detail-oriented in terms of he talked a lot about practice. In his opening remarks, he went on this long soliloquy about how he watched the Villanova Wildcats championship game and that 3-point shot that they hit and how many times they had run that play over and over and over and over and over again in practice. That's the way, he kind of envisions him as a coach is we're going to run things over and over and over so that when we need to call that play in a game, it will be done right.
Well, I have no problem with bringing in Villanova into the picture, even though I am a Temple guy. I mean, maybe that's to try and win over the Philly audience, I guess. But listen, practice makes perfect, right? I mean, that was way back in the day on the golf tip that I used to do on the TV. That was the closing line the guy would say. And remember, practice makes perfect. So I have no problem with him running repetitions over and over again to get something right. But I don't know that you need to spend an entire 8 to 10 minute segment talking about that. Get to what we really want to know. How are you going to do? Are you going to call your plays, which I guess he said he is going to call his plays? What kind of offense are you going to run? What are your some of thoughts on, and I heard Adam Caplan say it like people are trying to extrapolate or interpret, from an old Colts video. Oh, I think he likes 12 personnel. Listen, let's just give the guy a chance to get here, figure out who he's got first, and the answers will come.
Yeah, I just wonder if you're a player on the team, when you watch him speak, do you judge him differently? Like, do you give him the benefit of the doubt when he comes in the locker room? Did they all stand there today or sit at their homes, watch this press conference and go, that's our guy. That's our guy. Like, I don't know if the impact was that strong. And not that means he's going to be a bad coach by any means, but I just wonder how does what he did today somewhat move forward into that locker room as well?
I would say this, Brodes. I don't think that he hurt himself with anything that he said, or from what I'm hearing that he said. He's not like Doogie Howser. It's not like some 14-year-old coach is standing up there prepubescent and he's not even shaving yet or something like that. Yes, he's young, but, he's the head coach, and the NFL is a business. And, listen, even Chip Kelly got respect on day one when he walked in there. It was later on in the run of Chip Kelly when he started to lose some guys. Any coach in the NFL, being a business and being professionals, is going to get respect until such time that maybe he doesn't earn it anymore, or he costs himself with bumblehead decisions or lack of communication.
All right, Pete Thompson, obviously we won't hear from the Eagles again for quite some time. I mean, I guess the owners' meetings, if they have them, on the draft. So, we have so many questions this offseason that are going to start coming into play. But the one question that he was asked today was, hey, is Carson Wentz going to be back? And he really said, I can't answer that. So I guess there's a possibility that can be moved. But I'll ask you, because this is kind of like closing the book on the 2020 season and now looking forward. Do we think that Carson Wentz will be at training camp?
I think so. I mean, the only thing I think that would preclude it is if the Colts come and make some great deal, or some other team comes and knocks the socks off with some offer for him. And I just don't see how that could happen. I mean, Carson Wentz engineered a 4-win team, a team that couldn't get out of its own way. Carson Wentz had one of the worst quarterback seasons in modern history, right? I mean, the guy was butt awful, for lack of a better description. He was terrible. And I just don't know how many. Look, Carson Wentz agent's going to pump him up, and there's all kinds of, we like to play connect the dots, but unless some other team makes some unbelievable offer to the Eagles, they're like, good Lord, we cannot ignore this. I don't see any reason that he's not back, except for the one caveat, which is if Carson Wentz doesn't want to come back. And I don't see why. Like, I think the sticking point for him saying that he wanted to leave was because of Doug. Well, Carson, you got what you wanted. Doug is no longer here. So get back and get right.
What is your gut telling you about all this? I was in the shower the other day having my strong shower thoughts, and my gut was just not feeling well when I was thinking about where the Eagles are headed. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be a disaster, but you get some strong moments in that shower. So when my gut tells me that, I feel like I need to listen to it. But what's your gut telling you right now today?
I mean, I do some of my best thinking in the shower too, Brodes. That's I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the sanctity, the quiet. There's no phone, the hot water. Who knows why those thoughts come to us? But my gut's telling me this: that as much as I want to doubt, as much as I want to throw shade at the fact that it seems like all the good candidates were gone. We've seen before where the Eagles hired Doug Peterson basically last, and Doug Peterson took him to the Super Bowl. So I'm willing to give this guy a chance, and see what he can do. And I like the fact that it's not just a has-been, it's not just a retread. I mean, they're legitimately getting a whole new staff and a whole new younger staff and philosophy in there instead of NFL retreads or NFL lifers. I mean, I do like that they're keeping Stoutland, because Jeff Stoutland, after all, is, to me, a Hall of Fame offensive line coach. So, I mean, that guy made a bunch of has-beens and second-raters and scrub guys. I mean, he's making Jack Driscoll into an NFL player, Herbig into an NFL player. I mean, Jordan Mailata, the greatest project ever, actually figuring out how to play in the NFL. So, to me, Jeff Stoutland is the one holdover that I think is key.
Well, and that's what an interesting, place to take us, because now we start to look ahead, and I think there's a lot of very interesting battles, competitions, if you will. Is Andre Dillard your left tackle? Is Jordan Mailata? Yesterday, Mosher said he thinks Mailata would open up as the starter, and that they hope Dillard wins the position from him. We don't know if Jason Kelsey is going to be back. Are Brandon Brooks and Lane Johnson both going to be healthy enough to come back and play? If Kelsey doesn't come back, who's going to be the center? If it's Sayamala, who's going to be the left guard? Just on your offensive line, you have a plethora of questions coming back. So other than the quarterback thing, Pete Thompson, what is one positional battle or offseason thing that you think is most prominent?
I mean, can I talk about the secondary instead on the offensive side of the ball, or do I have to stay on the offensive side of the ball? I mean, I'm real curious to see how they do. Obviously Darius Slay, although at times he struggled. Darius Slay is a legitimate NFL corner, but I want to see how they address the secondary, and how they look. Is Alex Singleton an actual part of the team moving forward at the linebacker position, or was that just a guy standing out on a really bad football team? And who's healthy on the defensive line and able to go? We all love the offense. Okay, we all love the offense, but I think at the end of the day, what wins games in the NFL is your ability to defend, and the Eagles obviously need to shore up some things there. So that's the side of the ball I get drawn to the first. I love the offense. Look, I love the deep ball. I love to talk about the quarterback position. I love to talk about how's Miles Sanders going to run the ball. I love all that stuff. But to me, the ultimate X factor is always, can you defend? Can you keep the other team off the board? Can you come up with turnovers, and can you force them into bad situations?
Yeah, I know. And it's a great point you bring up, guys, because you got to find a corner opposite Slay. And then what do you do with Maddox? Roby Coleman, by the way, he's a free agent. Do you bring him back and then, battle him and Maddox for the slot and just say, hey, we got a new coordinator? Because, look, he was a pretty good player in L.A. with the Rams. There was a reason the Eagles brought him here, and he did not live up to the expectations, but there's a new system. So I think that secondary safety, you bring Mills back. I mean, you're right. It does have a ton, and Singleton too. If you bring him back to play linebacker, do you keep the same guys next to him? What do they think of Nate Geary? Does he come back and play? I mean, this staff, are they going to value Geary the same way?
Right. I mean, Nate Geary was in everybody's crosshairs for a while as he couldn't get out of his own way. And as you know, Nate Geary was really a converted safety, right? I mean, the guy was a safety trying to play linebacker in the NFL and was like one of those projects of, well, we'll try to slide him over here. And that doesn't always work out. But, yeah, there's a lot of question marks on the defensive side of the ball, too. And I know this, okay? I know that I think that they're looking at it with a clean slate. Of they're going to come in and evaluate everybody, but I think they're also looking at it of, how do we get better in a hurry, and to me, a lot of that too has to do with will they blitz or will they not blitz. Jim Schwartz didn't like the blitz, right? He was relying on just the normal pressure from his guys. But I think the league has changed. I think blitzing is the way to win football games, and blitzing has become sexy again. But if you're going to do that, then you're leaving your corners out there, right, exposed. So you can't effectively send the house on every play if you don't have comfort in who your secondary is.
All right, Pete Thompson, Happy Hour Friday. Let's move off the Eagles and go to what we saw with the Flyers this week. And, they beat the Devils 2 in a row. They get the sweep there, but does it leave you impressed or still asking questions?
Oh, definitely asking questions. They are so much a work in progress right now. And, obviously the guys we talked about on Tuesday that they're missing, Couturier and Phil Myers, it looks like he's close to returning. But I think the biggest thing that it says to me is if a guy like Nate Prosser is not only in the lineup, but he's scoring, then that says that AV is not happy with his rotation of 6 on defense, and that he's trying to find the right key and the right pieces. Look, Gustafson has struggled, so you set him out of the lineup, and then they brought him back in. Or Ghost hadn't played at all. When they brought Ghost in, then he was effective. Actually, you got good Ghost. Sometimes you get bad Ghost, but in the games that he's played, he's been good Ghost. So I think that's the biggest thing. And they continue to struggle. Like at one point the other night, they have like 8 shots. They had absolutely no attack whatsoever until all of a sudden in the third period. I think that was the first of those 2 Devils games. All of a sudden in the third period, they came alive and actually got a couple home. So, there's a lot of question marks. Look, you can win 2 games against the Devils, fine. You can win 2 games against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's so bad that their GM decided to abruptly retire, right? You have situations like that. Get against Boston and see how you do against a good team, or get against the Islanders. That's a huge rematch coming up against the team that knocked them out of the playoffs. And clearly, the Islanders were the better team last year in the postseason. Are the Islanders still the better team, or have the Flyers closed that gap? I don't feel like it yet, but maybe they'll open my eyes tomorrow night.
Yeah, I texted Gill yesterday night. I said, Gill, I have no idea how this team is winning hockey games. It's that bad to me. They are putrid for long stretches of the game. And then, as you said, they'll have a third period that's great, and that's when they win it. But that's not sustainable. It's like fool's gold right now. They got to figure things out. What have you seen from Carter Hart, though, so far this season? Lots of ups and downs. So how do you assess him to this point?
Well, and that's your answer. How are they winning games? Number 79 in goal is helping them win a lot of those games, definitely. And it's funny because a lot was made the other night where Carter Hart smashed his stick when he was leaving the ice. And I don't know if I had talked about that before or not, but when we were in San Jose, we had guest passes, so we were kind of down in the hallway there and saw Hart go a little postal there and have a little mental breakdown. So I like to see the emotion out of him. How do I see Carter Hart? I see that he had a bad game, and I think he was frustrated with the D in front of him, maybe not doing their job too. I'm not worried about Carter Hart. That's not the part that worries me. The part that worries me is, you don't play defense just with your netminder. You play defense with your netminder, your D-men, and your forwards. And that's what worries me. I still think they give up way too many shots. They're not generating enough of their own shots, and they're giving up too many shots. You can't be that duck in the shooting gallery, ba-ting, 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 and the duck just goes back and forth, and you're just firing away at it. I mean, Carter Hart is human, after all, and we saw that in the bad game that he had, and then he looked superhuman in a good game.
Pete Thompson, we saw Tobias Harris hit a big game-winning shot.
That was so much fun.
Against the Lakers. So are we sold on Tobias Harris being maybe that second scorer, that second piece that, Joel Embiid now has the Batman role and Harris is in the Robin role, and we know that Ben Simmons is in the everything role?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. In my opinion, that was a great finish. I thought they were going to blow it. I clearly have no idea anymore what's a flagrant foul, or I need to go back and look at the rule book. Because I sit here. Of course, I'm such a dinosaur like Schweimer. I think back to like how the Pistons played the Bulls, and they were almost coming to fisticuffs underneath the basket. But I look at it like this: am I sold on Tobias Harris? Not yet, but I definitely think that. Obviously, Tobias Harris had his best success when Doc Rivers was his coach. Tobias Harris starting to have success again. The reason they won that game the other night was the aggressive Ben Simmons. That's what really got my eyes open. I want to see that aggressive Ben Simmons again. I want to see the guy that's not afraid or doesn't back off, and attacks. I like that Ben Simmons. So I want to see him again. And then, like everybody, when Joel went down, I held my breath and thought, oh my God, don't hurt him. He's the franchise. I mean, that guy's Mr. MVP right now. Probably you guys were talking about it, right? He might not play.
Joel tonight, we're not sure. Paul said, when Doc talks, I guess whenever he talks,
and it's a later game, yeah. So we'll probably find out later tonight.
I do want to close out our conversation on a somber Friday, which is head coach John Chaney, 89 years old. The commanding basketball coach of the Temple Owls for, my God, it seemed like my whole childhood and my whole life. It still felt like he was the coach of that team, even though he hasn't really been in the mix for quite some time now. Passed away today. You have a picture up on your Facebook page, a younger version of the PT there with Coach John Chaney.
And you would think that picture is from college, but that was actually about 5 or 8 years after college. I was already in Omaha by the point I came back and saw a game at Tom Gola Arena against LaSalle. Pepe Sanchez helped Temple win the game that night when I caught up with Coach. Listen, everybody thinks of John Chaney going after John Calipari. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I'll kick your ass. He yelled at him, when he broke into that press conference. It was so hot up there in Massachusetts that time because Calipari he thought was riding the refs, and he just hated it. He just got under his skin. See, the thing is, Calipari, when he was at Pitt, and I know you're feeling about Pitt, Gill, Calipari used to negative recruit against Chaney back then. Why do you want to get up at 5 a.m? What do you want to play for a guy like that? He's only going to be there for another year. He was there for 24, by the way. And so that just the fuse was lit, and Chaney didn't like him. But to his character, John Chaney and John Calipari not only kissed and made up, they were very good friends for many, many years after that. So only Chaney could say, I'll kick your ass, and then become best buds with a guy years later. And I saw Calipari tweeted today, listen, I know this. John Chaney, I covered him at the Temple News. I covered him at WRTI. And I kind of, I felt like professional relationship with him, but I didn't feel like I had a big personal relationship with him. And at graduation, he came up, put his arm around me, leaned in and said, it's about time you graduated. Now maybe you'll stop asking me those damn questions, And I thought, oh my God, right? And then he said, no, I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of you, Peter. And he says, hey, good luck to you. And all the other graduates who were near me were like, oh my God, John Chaney knows you. It was John Chaney. He'd have stuff, Gill, there's got to be, you sounded like, he was like the black Herbert Hoover. There's a chicken in every pot. You got to go down chicken in a pot. What are you? We asked you a question about defense. What are you talking about, dude? But he was his press conferences were must watch, must listen, must attend. I would listen to that guy read the phone book. I'll miss him.
Yeah, and I know that he had so many different moments that stand out, as you kind of alluded to, the fight that he got into there early. But, people forget, too, that he had a style. Like when you played Temple, they had their own. It's almost like when you played Syracuse and they have that matchup zone defense. They had that. Chaney had that zone, and it was just, you were watching those teams. And there was a while there where just think about this, that it was disappointing for Temple to not make a Final Four. Like they never got to one, but they were constantly mentioned as a Final Four contender. They haven't been in the same breath since.
No. And it was that matchup zone, and you're right, it was so hard to prepare for that. Teams don't play that. It was Syracuse and Chaney, and that was about it. The only two teams that did it. You had to be a really good 3-point shooting team if you were going to beat that matchup zone. And the reason John Chaney had so much success, too, was, he never really went really deep with his teams. But what he did was he just strangled the hell out of you, And when you got in the NCAA, where you had short turnaround times and you were preparing for opponents you didn't really see that often anyway, that matchup zone, the year before I got there, they went 32-2, were number 1 in the country, and got knocked out by Duke. Mark Macon shot 6 for 36, unfortunately, and they made it to the Elite Eight and got knocked out short of the Final Four. During my run there, they made it all the way up against North Carolina, and that was Mark Bacon's senior year, I think, and Dean Smith and Eric Montrose and some other people knocked him out, and so they didn't make it to the Final Four. And then after I had left, I know there was a year, I think it was Eddie and Aaron, I think it was their junior year, Eddie Jones and Aaron McKee, and they made it all the way, like they knocked off Michigan and made it all the way one step short. So 3 times in the time that I was around the program, they made it just short of the Final Four. But, you're right, Mike. Think about Prop 48, too, right? Remember that rule where, basically guys had to be academically eligible? And think of the people, that John Chaney gave a chance to. Eddie Jones is a great example. Eddie Jones grew up poor in Pompano Beach, Florida, in a poor section of Florida, and never would have gone to college probably. And John Chaney got him out of there, and the rest is history. He played at Temple, played in the NBA, had a great career, or Aaron McKee, all these guys that Chaney gave a chance to.
Yeah, I know growing up, Temple was, I would say, I don't want to say elite, but they were right there. And they are not even in the same breath anymore. It's been a while since Temple's been really relevant, and they're downright bad now.
Yeah, it's really sad. They were always right on the cutting edge, and they were a team that nobody wanted to play come tournament time. They were a team that were, and Chaney would play anybody anywhere, In fact, one time when Chaney was opening up the gym, I said something about, I called back. They were opening up the new Apollo, and they were trying to look for an opponent. And I said something to Dana Altman, because I was at Creighton. I was in Omaha at the time. And I said, hey, would you play at Temple? He goes, I'd love to play at Temple. So I called back to John DeSangro, my man, Johnny DeSangro, that was like the operations guy for Temple basketball, now works for the Phillies broadcast. And I said, Johnny, hey, there's a chance here. Creighton's on the rise. Dana and Altman's out here. He says, all right, I'll check. He calls me back like 20 minutes later and says, I talked to Coach. He says, is that the guy that was at K-State? And DeSangro's like, I think so. And he goes, he kicked our ass. We're not playing him. Because that's how hard Dana Altman would coach defense and coach players. Dana Altman had been at Kansas State. So it was pretty funny. Here I was trying to play a little matchmaker and get Creighton to play Temple in the first game. It was UNLV, I think, that played him, right? Or was it Fresno State? I know it was Jerry Tarkanian. It was Fresno State that opened up the Apollo at Temple. But,
he was one of a kind, man. He was a joy to watch on the sideline. He was a joy to watch in the press conferences afterwards. They don't make him like John Chaney, and he passed away today at 89 years old. The great Temple head coach. Pete Thompson, a Temple alum. Temple tough.
Yeah, that's another one. Temple tough, baby. Thanks, Big Red. Good luck in the Super Bowl.
Pete Thompson, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. All right, Peter, good stuff.
Thanks, Brodes. Thanks, Gill. Have a good weekend, boys.
All right, there you go. The Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN. Pete Thompson slots. Good stuff there on John Chaney. Another thing, when John Chaney, you would see him, he looked like the owl. He had the look of the, he just looked like he was the perfect coach for Temple, right? Like he just made sense as the Temple coach. Now, you probably don't remember him coaching at all.
Right, yeah. No, obviously it's more stories than anything for me, but I just, listening to all that, it's just a shame that I feel the Big Five is just not even close to what it used to be. You know what I mean? Like just Big Five basketball in general doesn't have that same juice as it once did. It's unfortunate because it used to be like legit. That used to be something you look forward to night in and night out during college basketball season, and it's just not there anymore.
Well, it's a shame because St. Joe's is so bad.
So bad.
I mean, they are really bad. Temple's not very good.
I don't even know if Villanova gets enough credit for what they're doing around here. Like, there's people who claim it's not a Philly school. I mean, those people are ridiculous. We're talking about Villanova on the same level of Duke, Michigan State. I know this year they're having a tough year, but in terms of national championship caliber, we don't give them enough respect, I feel.
Who, Nova?
Yeah.
College is tough around here, man. It's tough to
But
compete.
you're talking national championship, not just like, hey, they're a good team. We're talking powerhouse.
I think it just shows you how hard it is as a college program to find your way around the professional teams here.
Yeah, but if it wasn't Villanova and it was Temple, how much different would it be viewed because it was a city school?
I don't think it would be different.
You don't think so?
No.
Because I feel the people who claim it's not part of Philly, like that's why the disconnect is there, because it's on the outside. It's not really Philly.
No, I don't think that matters.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Penn State football is kind of looked at as like Philadelphia's college football team. They're 4 hours away. So it's more that college sports just have a real hard time breaking through. I mean, when St. Joe's had that undefeated season, nobody cared until they were like literally in the tournament playing games. And that was it. You get your 2 weeks of like, all right, here you go. These are your 2 weeks.
Yeah, Jameer Nelson and Delonte West.
Yeah, man. All right, plenty more to go. Sports Bash, 5 questions on the way, plus Sixers tonight, Flyers tomorrow and Sunday. Busy weekend.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Free ball by Tobias is good. Oh, baby. Like manna from heaven. Tobias Harris.
The Sixers are in Minnesota to face the T-Wolves. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN.
Stop the countdown. It's not a new year we're celebrating. It's an all-new Matt Blatt Nissan. Yes, you heard right. Matt Blatt Nissan is now open on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, next to Home Depot, and online at mattblattnissan.com. Help us celebrate when you get out of that old car, truck, or SUV and into a brand new Nissan with the Matt Blatt Nissan Fast Track Checkout. Available online at mattblattnissan.com. Our non-touch delivery and electronic paperwork ensures your safety comes first. Plus, Matt Blatt Nissan wants your trade. Bring it in today and help us celebrate the all-new Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, or visit us online. We want to help with your credit approval. And don't forget, with Matt Blatt, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy. Celebrate the all-new Matt Blatt Nissan online at mattblattnissan.com. Credit may affect terms. Negative equity will be refinanced with a new vehicle. Get all the details at mattblattnissan.com. Let's get it on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Babe, look, cash pop from the New Jersey Lottery. We just got to match one number, 1 through 15, to win.
Whoa, so easy.
Our anniversary date? September
6th?
14th.
Not to interrupt you guys, but the more numbers you play, the better your odds of winning.
Well, the 6th was our first date anniversary.
Aw, let's play both numbers.
With Cash Pop, you could win up to 250 times your wager. So pop in and play. Anything can happen in Jersey. Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change to do. We can get you everything you need. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP oil filter for just $26.99. Plus a $5 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? We can sign you up fast right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
2020 is history, so let South Jersey Federal Credit Union help you start making the most of 2021. The credit union gives you the chance to save with lower interest rates on loans and higher rates on savings. Sick of banking fees? Open a free checking account with no monthly fees or minimum balance. And with a new qualifying account, you may be able to earn a cash bonus of $20.21 every month for a year. For details, stop into a local branch or visit southjerseyfcu.com. Insured by NCUA.
Hindsight is 2020. 2020 was a brutal year with a lot we couldn't control. Pandemic, economy, unemployment. What can we control? our job, our career. Don't look back with 2020 hindsight next year and see yourself in that 2020 job. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Buying some pretzel sticks?
Excuse me?
This is your wake-up call from Tracfone Wireless.
Okay.
What if you didn't eat all those pretzel sticks by the end of the month, so this store took them back?
Good luck.
That's how some wireless companies are with your data, but Tracfone Wireless gives you unlimited carryover data with active service, so you keep what you pay for. Plans start at $20 a month.
Wow, that's cool.
Sir, are you bothering the customers?
Yeah, hang on. This is your wake-up call, people. Tracfone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. See terms and conditions at tracfone.com.
There's only one original stuffed crust, and it's only from Pizza Hut. The only place that gives you up to 3 toppings on your original stuffed crust for just $11.99. Order yours online at pizzahut.com. Ask or click for limited time offer. Extra charge for more toppings and extra cheese. Exclusions apply.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill and Brodes on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And now you can watch the show live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 97.3ESPN.com.
All right, a Friday edition of the Sports Bash. Don't forget, you can watch the show live. Go to our website, 97.3ESPN.com. This Friday is a indication of how the rest of this weekend might go. It's going to be good stuff. It's been an interesting day. Sixers tonight, we don't know the status for Joel Embiid. Jay Blevins will be on game night at 6:42. He'll have an update.
That's such a Josh time. Now, do you think
He
Josh
wrote
came?
6:42.
He did?
Yes.
Where did he write?
What do you mean, where did he write?
Oh, I was looking at Thursday's day.
Yes, well, today happens to be Friday.
You are correct. Now, do you think Blevins said, hey, I'll be on at 6:42, or do you think Josh said, hey, 6:42?
Well, I'm imagining that Josh is probably computing in his head when the break will end or when he'll go to break, and then that will get him back onto the air. It's a shame that he's not here right now to defend himself.
Yeah,
but
he'll come in soon.
even if it was 6:42 that you know, would you write, like, all the times that we write on our board, they're all 0s and 5s. Like,
Right.
the segment might be 3:15, but it might be 3:18. I'm not going to write 3:18, though, down.
Right, I agree with you. Yeah, I would never in a million years write 6:42 on that whiteboard. But what I do know that I would do is utilize DraftKings and their special deal they have going right now. DraftKings has a golden ticket giveaway with up to $55 million in prizes up for grabs. All you have to do to get your share of these huge prizes is enter the DraftKings free Super Bowl prediction challenge. Once you submit your picks, you will get a free instant prize up to $25,000. The top prize is $1 million. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code 973 when you sign up. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
So I just got the transcript from the Eagles.
How many pages? 25?
I was going to say, I was wondering how long this was going to take, but let me tell you, I wish...
I just want to know how many pages Jeffrey Lurie's transcript part of it is.
Oh, this is what I'm... do they have Lurie's part in here?
Well, come
yes,
on.
they do.
All right, I was going to say.
This is the longest thing I've ever seen. I mean, when they send out the transcripts. By the way, Lurie is almost as long as Sirianni's, and he only had he didn't even take a question.
Yeah, what bothers me is one of the reasons why they wanted to hold this off is so you would have more questions to ask, and they would have more answers for you. But they essentially gave us, well, I don't know yet. I haven't checked out the film. I don't know what we're going to do here. I don't know what we're going to do there. The point of pushing it back 8-9 days was so you would have more information to give us when the questions were
Well, you heard what Sal said. He said, he wasn't prepped well enough. He had 9 days to prep for this.
You're telling me the Eagles PR staff is that bad? Like, who does that fall on? The PR team? Who controls the PR team? There's probably a head of the PR, but who tells...
Like 9 of them.
Who tells them how to prep these people? Like, when does the line be drawn?
Well,
here?
This is what I know. The first question out of the chute, they know it's coming. Well, they control who asks the questions too, and when they do. So I'm not saying like they didn't think this was coming, but maybe they're saying, all right, we're going to go early on with guys that aren't going to come as hard hitting.
Yeah, Jeff McClain's not number one on the list. They went Zach Berman, nice and soft tone.
Well, I mean, here's the problem. I would say a problem, but he asked about Wentz, but he asked a follow-up. He asked for like 2 questions, which gave Sirianni the chance to kind of get out of it. Because the question that Zach asked was a fine question. Did you take this job with the stipulation or expectation that Carson Wentz is your quarterback next season? If he ended it there, Sirianni has to kind of try to go around that. But then he said, if so, what is your plan to get the most out of him? And that's where he gave Sirianni the out.
Yep, he gave him an opportunity to dance a bit easier than he could have prior to that secondary part of it, for sure.
Yeah, and his answer was, I took this job because of what a great organization it is.
Now, I think Ruben Frank was number 2?
No, Dave Zongaro.
Okay, NBC Sports.
There's been plenty of reports about Carson's relationship with the organization being strained. Wondering what your conversations with him have been like so far. Do you feel it's a reconcilable relationship? And he says, I can't speak on the reports. I've talked to Carson. I've been reaching out to our players. It's been a whirlwind. I've talked to Carson. We've had good conversation. I know he's talked to our offensive coordinator as well. Just excited to work with him as we move forward here.
I know it's an easy reaction right now, like to kind of like have some fun and poke some fun at how he answered some of these questions. But the Twitter right now is dialed in on that opening monologue. And I'll tell you what, the more and more you listen to it, it kind of does, at least me personally, makes me chuckle a little bit on how much he was fumbling over those words. And if let's say we look back in 5 years on the Nick Sirianni era, we might be dating ourselves back to day number 1 where we go, we should have known from that moment,
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what Doug, we were talking about this in a commercial break. You and Josh remember more than I do Doug Peterson's first presser. Like, I wonder if we can go back and snag his opening monologue, because I don't remember it off the top of my head, to be honest with you. Like, what was Doug Peterson like day 1, opening monologue? Here we go, Doug Peterson. You are the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
What I remember from that, and I'm like, I don't remember what he said or anything.
Right.
Was he had a like eagle-ish green tie on.
Now, that's funny. Out of everything you can remember, it's color of tie.
He had the suit coat with the white shirt, and it was like it was in between like the eagle color green and the Kelly green tie. It was like somewhere in between there.
Now, when did Doug go from suit to polo visor?
Well, after the opening press conference, when you go suit. Now, Sirianni today didn't go suit.
That's what I was about to say.
3/4 zip.
I was about to say. He went a little bit more
didn't
casual.
Go 3/4 zip. He kind of went with a more athletic, like, zip up.
I like that, though. It's like business casual, but athletic-y. I like the get up.
He went like he was coaching, coaching practice.
Now, do you think they should go back on the sidelines to suits for the head coaches in football?
No, but I don't think the basketball coaches should.
I know you don't. I like the look.
That's what I'm saying. They should wear what they're wearing now.
No, I like the suit look.
There's no reason an NBA basketball coach needs to wear a suit.
It's a good look.
It's not a bad look. First off, I feel the suit's a little dated.
Really?
Our whole lives.
You're talking to a hockey guy here, so you're outruled by me.
Well, the hockey, we talked about this before, the hockey media guys are wearing suits.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. If the Flyers get into a good groove and they start becoming like that playoff run team, I'm going to come in every day suit. All my hockey suits for game days, I got a bunch of them. I'm going to start rocking it like,
okay.
If the Flyers make a good run, I'm going suit.
Well, that's fine. But here's the thing. The suit is dated, okay? It's time to come up with like a new look for, hey, I'm dressed up.
But there's a now it's the slim fit. Like there's a way for it now to be pulled up where it's not baggy suits. Like if you go watch the 90s suits where baggy, it's not like that anymore. So now it's like slim fit. It's a good vibe with it. It's
still the
dated.
same. It's like you're recreating the same look and just changing the look of it.
Yeah, you're making it slimmer.
But like for instance, like I would say, you go to a car dealership, okay? Guy walks up in a suit. I ain't buying a car from a guy in a suit.
No,
I want a guy in a polo. Give me the polo, and I'll consider. Like I know a guy in a suit is not getting my. You're not getting my sale.
Yeah, but see the difference is the car salesman normally goes short sleeve button up with the tie.
No,
I'm out on that.
Radio Shack.
No, that's the Radio Shack. No, Radio Shack have team polos.
No, not well. Back in the day, Radio Shack doesn't even exist anymore.
Well, we can buy some stocks in it.
Remember Circuit City? You're probably too young.
No, I remember Circuit City.
Service is state of the art.
There you go.
They had the short sleeve shirts on. Yeah, the suit's just a dated, like, you see a guy wearing a suit and you're like, all right, man, come on.
No, I like a nice suit. These hockey coaches on the bench goes a nice suit.
But hockey is still stuck in the 90s, so that makes sense.
No, they're up to speed. Although now I'm thinking about it, my college coach would go. No,
hockey coaches wear like a jacket.
No, they don't go. It depends
on practice.
The
hockey coach wears the big puffer jacket.
They go jumps. Yeah, they go jumpsuit. It's not necessarily puffy, but they do go like a jumpsuit, full swishy pant kind of vibe. But my hockey coach would go sweater with the tie with like a collared shirt and go sweater over top of it with like a nice pair of dress pants.
Probably a sweater vest.
Sometimes he'd pull off the sweater vest, but he was a younger guy. He was in like his 40s for like being a hockey coach. Younger guy, went with more of a different look.
See, I don't need the suit. Like these coaches' shirts that the Sixers are wearing this year, phenomenal. I can't find them anywhere.
Oh, you're going searching for them.
I've been looking all over. They are tremendous.
Does Doc Rivers have a posh mark? Maybe he's putting them up there. They can go in and dive into.
If anybody from the Sixers can help me out here, I want those shirts that Rivers now. They have the nice, it's not the zip, it's kind of like the over.
Yeah.
I'm
surprised they don't have that available anywhere on the NBA shop or anything.
Nothing.
I'm kind of surprised by that.
I cannot find them anywhere, but they're nice. And it's like where the logo is the same color as the shirt, so the logo doesn't really stand out.
That's so you.
Yeah.
That is so you.
I don't like a lot of, wordage or logoage. I don't like a lot of.
I have an Under Armour zip up.
Subtle.
And it's black. And it's a black Under Armour logo on it. And I'm like, I wish it was white. It would pop more. But that's so you. Like, you would love that.
I like the very subtle.
Yeah, ridiculous.
You see, like, there's a navy one that Doc wear. They have the black ones. I don't like the white one as much.
See, I'm different. I'm loud. I'll go, like, bright yellow or, like,
The other night, they were playing Detroit. And it was like the Detroit coaches were like, hey, just find your favorite polo and wear it tonight.
You don't like that look?
I mean, come on.
Well, what? Did they look like a bowling team?
Like I said the other day, these NBA teams, they wear the sneakers. One guy's got yellow sneakers. Somebody else has got blue ones, purple. Like, you got to wear the same color sneaker. And the coaches, the Sixers coaches, they look smooth.
Who do you think is in charge of that, Doc? Do you think he went in there and said, hey, Daryl, this is what we're doing. Give me the shoes.
Tell Daryl. He's telling the coaches, this is what we're wearing tonight. We're going blue, 3/4. We're wearing this black pants. We're all wearing the same shoes. Boom.
I like.
You don't see the coaches wearing yellow shoes, red shoes.
That's a player thing. I'm okay if the players do that. I like the coaches looking stiff on the sidelines, though.
Well, then put a suit on. You want to look like a stiff ass? Put a suit on.
No, I meant that with
Guess what, people?
I like the suit on the coach.
Suit's a dated look. Get an updated wardrobe.
No, you know what? If Pick Stitch comes to my house, and can I get suit options on that?
They probably have them.
Well, yeah, probably because they're dated. Well, there's a dated version of the suit. I think you're outdated.
I don't wear a suit.
Well, you're missing out. I'm telling you, Flyers make a run. I'm going hockey journalist for the whole run. The whole run.
More than welcome to. But
I'm going to.
The suit is a dated look. You know,
not if you do it right. Skinny tie.
Like even these corporate people now, they're like these young, like techie corporate people. They're not wearing suits anymore. They're wearing the shirt button open, no tie.
But that's classy look. If you go suit, no tie.
They have gotten rid of the suit look. The suit is like your old man look. The suit is a dated look.
No, but you can wear a nice suit.
Hockey needs to evolve. Get out of the 90s and let's evolve. Come a little. Let's go.
No, it's a phenomenal look. You come off the. How about the players who go full suit for the games? Are you anti wearing a suit to the games? If you're in the NHL, like I watched Joel Embiid wear sweatpants to the game. That's embarrassing. I hate that the NBA does that.
I thought they weren't allowed to do that anymore.
Now they can wear whatever they want to these games, it seems. I see all this, the pictures of them.
Did the NBA have a dress code that you couldn't wear? You had to wear.
I'd be shocked.
A suit.
But
no, it was like, they changed it? Because it used to be they had to wear basically a suit.
Like, I prefer.
And the NBA said we look like a bunch of idiots wearing suits.
No.
We look like a bunch of old men. We got 20-year-old kids. Get them out of these suits. Stop looking like the old guy. Get them out of the suit.
No. If you see Claude Giroux walking in Ottawa, walking to the rink with a cup of coffee, a nice suit with the snow hat backwards with that orange beard, that's a hell of a look.
Update your look. Get out of the suit.
Strip the C while you're at it.
Played more games as a C than anybody else, and I like what he said the other night. And we haven't had a whole heck of a lot of success with me as a C either. I'm glad he recognized what everybody else has seen.
Well, it's an organizational issue here. We haven't had a goaltender in 30 years. Try winning a hockey series with that.
Wait, so Josh, you're saying the NBA changed the policy because of the bubble. So it's just been new. That's why. Yeah, brand new. They always had to wear, not suits, but they weren't allowed to wear like baggy clothes. They had to have professional attire. Yeah. They didn't want them wearing
It's not professional enough for me. Put them in the suits.
Well, then you look like an old guy.
Now you can pull it off the right way.
Hey, people, don't
Is
wear
there a
suit.
suit that fits Joel Embiid?
That's why they had to get out of that.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. You know whose suit fits Joel Embiid? The one that Jordan was wearing in those 90s videos. All right, 5 coming up next.
Tonight on Compass Media Network's coverage of NCAA basketball. It's a heavyweight showdown in the Big Ten as the Illinois Fighting Illini host the Iowa Hawkeyes. Hi, this is Jeff Biggs. Join Bill Rosinski, Doug Gottlieb, and myself for all the action as National Player of the Year candidate Luka Garza and the Hawkeyes look for a tough road victory over Ayo Dosunmu and the Fighting Illini. It's Illinois and Iowa. If it's NCAA basketball, it's right here.
The college basketball season continues. Coverage begins after Sixers basketball.
On some models, excludes Corvette with GMF financing, excludes fire sale. See dealer for details.
Start the new year in a new Chevy at Bennett Chevy. Come see all the hot new 2021s and get our famous unbeatable Bennett deal. GM supplier employee pricing, plus you keep all the rebates. And right now, that could be up to 25% off MSRP. Yes, up to 25% off. Shop all you want, but there's just no beating Bennett. Looking for pre-owned? Bennett will pay you a minimum $7,000 for your trade towards any pre-owned in stock. That's at least $7,000, regardless of how or even if your old car runs. Imagine how much you'll get for a good trade. And you will absolutely love dealing with Bennett. There's no games, no gimmicks, just real deals and no need to negotiate because our non-commissioned sales team is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Find new roads and start the new year in a new Chevy at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Hey guys, are you afraid of taking off your shirt in public? Don't be embarrassed. Just say, I love Lyle back instead with male breast reduction. Many men develop a fullness in their chest as boys that persists and even worsens as they get older. This condition is called gynecomastia, and with simple liposuction, most cases can be effectively treated. Call 856-MAKEOVER today to schedule your private consultation with Dr. Lyle and Back. That's 856-MAKEOVER or visit ILoveLyleBack.com.
Let's face it, football fans, 2020 was kind of like... But Unibet Sportsbook is betting 2021 is going to be a bit more like... And it starts with a big game. Sign up for $20 free today, $21 on game day, and two $250 risk-free bets. Let's do 2021 better. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in New Jersey. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm not commuting anymore. Where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Do you love a good cigar almost as much as your family? Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but you can find that perfect cigar at Smokers Haven. With 5 New Jersey locations, Smokers Haven has the finest selection of cigars in the area, like Ashton, My Father's, Romeo and Julieta, Monte Cristo, and more. All from the finest tobacco leaves and hand-rolled by the world's finest cigar makers. All locations are fully open. Stop in and let them help you find the perfect cigar to pair with your life. See all they have and their locations at smokershavennj.com.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You ready for competition? It's time for 5 questions. 3 ain't enough, man. I need 5. Number 5 will always love you. 5 times. Now can you dig that?
All right, time for 5 questions. Don't forget Jay Blevins tonight at 6:42. Kevin Durso is on Saturday on Sports Best Saturday along with Scoop B, Brandon Robinson. So check that out tomorrow as well.
All right, now speaking of Durso, your first question of the 5, I want your response to Durso. So he texts me, goes, Gills kill me with this no suit, get out of the 90s stuff. It's a classic look. Maybe we can evolve into Cowboys attire. Hats and boots for everyone. He wants to go into the hats and boots. Little country music.
So that's a regionalized look.
You don't think we can pull that off here in the South Jersey area?
I don't think it's working.
You don't think you walk the Atlantic City boardwalk and just see guys with
No.
Cowboy boots walking around?
I've been on the suit thing for a while, though. It's not new. I think, come on. We're smart enough in this world. We've evolved in almost every area of dress. It's time to find a new outfit that signifies I'm getting dressed up to go somewhere. Don't have to go back to an outfit that was created in 1864.
I love it. I respond to it. There's nothing better than walking off the bus in Toronto, snow. You got a cup of coffee, snow hat on, walking into the rink. Suit. Love it. All right, so anyway, moving on.
There's not one person there to see you, so let's put a suit on for that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the mentality of the game. All right, you mentioned 642. Are you shocked that Josh was the reason of the 642? Did you hear what happened?
I did, and I'm not shocked. I told you. I said, did you notice that he put 6? He actually wrote 642 on the board.
What blows my mind is
the fact that it might actually be 642, but that he took the time to take the dry eraser and update the board to say 642.
Well, Blevin said, how about after Doc at 640? And then he goes with, how about 642? That's kind of where I draw the line. You say, yeah, 640 is good. And then, 641, 640, it's all the same. What a joke.
Well, and that whole part too. But the fact that he updated the board to say 642, we'll have to take a picture of it and tweet it out. The board says 642.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. I'd rather wear a suit.
Right, 640. No one else is seeing it. It's like the guy with the suit. No one's seeing you. You don't need to wear a suit. Come out in your damn birthday suit for all we care. Whoa. You get off the bus in Toronto, there ain't anybody there sitting there looking at you.
I don't think Flyers Twitter will upload those. Speaking of the Flyers, how do you think they do this weekend on the back-to-back? What do you think their record will be? 1-1, 0-2, 2-0?
I saw they're a favorite. I think
I haven't seen the line.
No.
I was going to say
they're minus 1.5.
Okay.
Plus 1.5. I could be wrong about that. Wait a second.
I'd be surprised if they're the favorite.
I did look at the line for Saturday's game. No, I think they lose both.
Lose both?
Their defense is just not.
I know. You're preaching to the choir, but they keep finding ways to win.
And look, last year we saw the Islanders were just a tough matchup for them.
Yeah, they play people ugly.
Yeah, real quick. You think this Flyers team's better or last year's?
Oh, last year's. Yeah, last year's. It's not even close.
Not even close?
Not even close.
They're missing one player.
Well, Sean Couturier's hurt right now, and Matt Niskanen. They don't have it right now. They don't have it.
The Flyers are minus 1.5 tomorrow night.
So you're going 0-2. Disappointing. Sixers.
They're at home.
Tonight. Do they beat the Timberwolves, or is it somewhat of a letdown game?
Sixers win tonight.
You think Embiid plays?
I'm going to say no to Joel Embiid tonight.
I agree with you. And then our last question here.
Let's see if I can get a quick update on that.
Okay. Last question here. Anything planned for the weekend? Anything good, or just kind of like a relaxed kind of weekend?
Tomorrow I'm calling Pleasantville, Atlantic City, 11 o'clock in the morning. So
you get to go to that game, though, or is it?
I will be there. Cool.
That's exciting.
I will be there. You can watch the game, the video, stream. We'll have that game on the website, 97.3ESPN.com. So, I'm getting out doing a game. First time I will have been. Well, I did the Thanksgiving Day. I was in the press box, but first basketball game in a while. So I'll have that call tomorrow. And other than that, well, I saw the Wind today. All the vinyl I put up, the Wind got up underneath of one of them and ripped it right off the.
That Wind was no joke.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to fix that tomorrow too. It's not gonna be tonight. It's freezing out there. Got to get up on the ladder, put on a suit. Game night's up next.
Hey everyone, it's Billy Schwein for The Locker Room. We have a lot to cover this weekend. The Eagles introduced their new head coach. The Phillies signed JT Realmuto, and the Flyers and Sixers win. Saturday, we'll talk with former Paulsboro Red Raider Temple Allen, Kansas City Chief Kevin Ross. Kevin is headed to Super Bowl 55 as a coach with the